So Soldier then going to be spawning up to the northwest in the red on the Germans, and then down to the south, Kaiser in the blue playing as the French. And I was casting the New World Championships with Kaiser yesterday, and he was actually saying that Germans are one of his favorite civs to play. So he probably knows very well how to read Soldier in this game.
And yeah, I've played this matchup a lot with him as well, so he's definitely no stranger to playing against Germany in this type of matchup. And I think the same can be said about Soldier. I mean, German and France are probably two of the most popular civs in the game, if not the most popular. So both players should be very familiar with what to do and what to expect from their opponent in this game. Also, Kaiser doing a little good job with that scout there, trying to distract the Explorer a little bit to buy time for him to get to that 30 coin and pick that up easily. But he is at risk of losing the scout as a result of doing that. Looks like his Explorer is going to get there in time, maybe. I think he should be okay.
Oh no, he's going to get away. Wow,
yeah, just barely get away with one shot left.
And there you go. We got Freitag in there from from Soldier, and that's now being attacked by the Explorer of Kaiser. But it looks like Kaiser will successfully shepherd at least one of those goats home. He's already got two underneath his town center, while Soldier has just the one at the moment.
But actually stealing it back.
Yeah. Oh boy. Gonna get an extra goat in there for Kaiser now.
Yeah, but the HP, definitely in favor of Soldier as a result of all of that. So we can get quite a bit of damage done on this Explorer, try to restrict some of the treasuring possibilities later on. Although even doing so, he's not doing this for free. Kaiser, because he did save that native scout, is able to pick up a couple of extra goats on the top side of the map here, while Soldier kind of just walks through areas he's mostly already scouted. So
that's
this
a really
is probably
good point.
not bad for Kaiser in the end.
No, it's very good, and even though he's maybe lost a little bit of treasuring potential, his Explorer will get out with half health, and he's already managed to get the 40 wood and the 30 coin, while Soldier actually doesn't have any treasures so far, aside from the little monkey thing, and that seems to be dead now, so he does need to go and do some treasuring of his own in order to sort of balance the tables a little bit here.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to stumble across this 85 wood, which will be a very nice pickup for him. Could potentially expedite an early trading post in transition or something like that. Meanwhile, though, Kaiser just content to give that over. He did see that the Explorer was heading this direction, and he did have that treasure scouted, but there's plenty of other things to go for on the southern side of the map, so he'll be going for that instead. Not going to risk tangoing with that Explorer anymore after taking all that damage.
No, pretty smart, really. Just going directly down to the other side and just going to pick up the 35 food. It's not amazing, but he's still coming out ahead at the moment, as Kaiser here has 9 goats. That's 9-0 at this point, using that native scout to shepherd them all back. He's only got 8 HP, but it's enough to grab all the goats, and there's one more goat remaining for a total of 10. I'm really impressed. I know he's got the advantage from having that native scout and enabling him to pick up the goats, but the fact that Soldier had the little monkey, the Freitag, and still manages to end up getting 0 goats, it's a little disappointed for our red player here.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy about that. Kaiser can even think about potentially building like a livestock pen or something, and sort of expediting the fattening of those goats, giving him a large bit of fast-gathering food in a few minutes. We'll see if he chooses to do that.
At this point, is actually the livestock pen really worth it? I never see it. Well, I don't see it very often, but I guess if you've got all 10 goats, I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, if you have a lot of livestock, it's definitely worth it. Livestock gather almost twice as fast as normal hunts, even after both the upgrades. So, on top of it, also sort of delaying the amount of time that you have to leave your base or whatever, because you have extra safe food in your base. So if you do have a lot of goats, it's definitely worth it, and I sort of expect to see him drop it down at some point in the early game here, but he doesn't have to.
Sorry to interrupt you there. Native Scout just getting out of stealth mode, but Soldier doesn't manage to shoot it and kill it off there. So that's kind of annoying. I guess if you can get rid of that Scout, would be a little peace of mind, because Kaiser can scout with that now and see what Soldier's up to. You are right, though. Soldier did go for the trading post in transition with that 85 wood treasure. He's got that up now, and we do have a trading post for Kaiser as well. So quite similar builds by the looks of things so far, both even going with a stable. But Kaiser's going to get his stable up just a little bit sooner. And of course, with those 10 goats, we'll have a very quick food boost if he needs it at any point here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be very nice for him at any like important timings for sure. He can gather up that food and get out a lot of units a little bit more easily. But yeah, as you said, both players going to start with a stable. This is maybe a little bit in favor of Germany, although this is still sort of the standard way to play this matchup. Germany just gets the larger cavalry mass early on, though, so Kaiser will have to be a little bit careful with how aggressively he plays. But if I know Kaiser, I'm kind of maybe expecting him to go for maybe a quicker age up than you would normally expect. Okay. If you see that he's already sent another shipment, he could potentially be sending that 700 gold shipment instead of sort of the standard wood shipment, and use that to get to the fortress age very quickly, and get out some early fortress units before Germany is up to fortress himself, and then maybe go for some sort of early timing like that. I know this is something he likes to do a lot.
Right.
I'm interested to see if he actually goes for it.
We'll have to see if he moves on to those goats at any point then, and maybe he'll use that to get the food that he needs. But we do see 700 coin coming in, as you said, so very well read there. And he's keeping his Hussar at home. I guess that's because he knows that he's going to have the extra Ulan out, thanks to those shipments coming with some Ulan, and of course the trained Ulan as well. I mean, I don't think he's scouted the stable with his native scout yet, but I think he will see the Ulan running past, and so he knows they're out on the map. I guess at this point, Kaiser just doesn't want to get caught out of position and lose his Hussar for free.
Yeah, for sure. I think he just wants to keep those Hussars at home to prevent the Ulans from coming into raid and idling him, and then he'll just get up to Fortress Age, get out some very early Dragoons, and try to push really early with the Huss and Dragoons and try to punish the Ulan mass that Soldier has. But it looks like Soldier's kind of going for the same game plan that he is, with that 700 coin coming in second.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, kind of interested to see how it plays out. He's also positioned his Ulans on the side here to go in for a couple of raids and get some scouting done as well. But not going to be too fruitful, most likely. However, now with the Hussars chasing off to the top side here, the Ulans on the southern side might be able to get something done.
Potentially, he is coming in. He might be able to find a village chopping wood here, for example, but it does look like one of those Ulan will get snared and taken away, but the Ulan in the south coming in, one courier going down, and the rest should make it back into the TC safely. Nice pick by Soldier. He'll also get the Explorer while he's there as well, but the Fortress Age is in for Kaiser. Exiled Prince there for both of them, and both players taking a really similar approach, but it does seem like Kaiser just a little bit ahead with that age up, and might be able to take advantage of that with a shipment. It looks like he actually has shipped some military here. What do you think he shipped 8 crossbow at this point? That seems odd if he's done that.
You mean Kaiser?
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Kaiser will have shipped the Dragoons, right? The 5 Dragoons here.
Yeah, I think it's most likely going to be the Dragoons for sure. And it looks like Soldier's Ulan's getting caught as well, so that's going to be nice for Kaiser, especially with this early timing that he's potentially going for. He's got 1 Dragoon in queue as well. Some more Ulans coming in from the top side. But yeah, those Dragoons should be popping any moment now. There's 3 from the stable. Should be a few from a shipment in the next 5 or 10 seconds. Here we go. So this is going to be go time for Kaiser.
The Ulan's running away, tail between their legs, and Soldier, meanwhile, he's up. He's got war wagons in queue, and how do you feel about war wagons here against this?
Yeah, they're definitely the right answer to this type of timing. And Kaiser has a few seconds here. Soldier wasn't up too late behind him, so he has to be a little bit careful with how long he sticks around, but it looks like he will pick up a couple of vills with this timing at the very least. Going for some more, going to force some idle time. 3 vills in total, and here comes the skirmishers. But there's
he's got Ulan
Ulan's
around
kind of
the
out of position
backside.
for this.
Yeah, the Minutemen being called now as well, waiting for those war wagons to pop. Obviously, those Dragoons going to town on the Ulan, they're all dead, and it's really just down to those skirmishers at the moment to try and see this off. The war wagon's on the way over, though, and the Dragoons hightailing out of there, while the Hussar might just get another villager. They do, and that's going to work out very well in Kaiserklein's favor here, pulling ahead in that economy. Population, but does now also see the war wagons, so he has that information.
Yeah, this is a kind of a nice timing for Soldier. There's a 3 Cuirassier shipment for Kaiser now, so that means he has to chop a lot of wood if he wants to get down the infrastructure, as he didn't manage to send 700 wood or 1,000 wood. But this is sort of something you can do against Germany. Just because war wagons are not the best ranged cavalry in the world. They're a little bit slower than others, so they have trouble kiting. They don't have range resistance, so Dragoons can actually fight war wagons pretty effectively as well. So if you go for this kind of Dragoon cav composition, sometimes it can be a little bit harder for Germany to counter. And that is what Kaiser's going for at the moment, it looks like.
Okay, and is there any point here where Soldier might consider some Doppelsoldner? Are they just too slow at this point? I mean, the skirms are kind of slow anyway, right? So if there's a lot more Hussar coming out and more Cuirassiers, maybe the Doppelsoldner makes sense. I don't know if that's something that they would consider.
Yeah, I mean, Doppelsoldners definitely would make sense against this unit composition, for sure. The problem is that you have to then invest into veteran Doppelsoldners, which is an extra 200 wood and 200 coin. That isn't really worth it until you already have like a decent mass of them. So at this point, most of the time players will just continue to train war wagons. But it looks like these Ulan's going to get caught and cleaned up pretty easily there from Kaiser.
Good
so looking to be in a really
there.
good position now.
Yeah, he's got the scouting info. He's going to actually send the war wagons and skirms back. It looks like Kaiser decided not to cross the river, but sort of make his way toward the middle. And the war wagons and skirmishers there from Soldier ready to sort of meet him. The Minutemen in front, and the Explorer even in front as well. Just going to get cleaned up for free, basically. But yeah, at the moment, more war wagons coming over. Does he just commit to making full war wagons at this point? He's only got a single stable. And Kaiser, meanwhile, has got a stable and a barracks. So I feel like he's got a lot more military production potential at this point.
Yeah, he definitely does. And it's going to show now with Kaiser with the skirmisher advantage, is able to force the army away there. And yeah, there's not much else that Soldier can really do aside from make war wagons. He doesn't have any Ulans left, really, and he doesn't have the veteran upgrade for them either if you were to train them. And no barracks either, as you said, so he's a little bit trapped into making war wagons, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just sending 3 war wagons now. 3 Ulans coming with that as well, and he's actually got a decent mass of units here. He's actually trying to take the fight. The Goon's getting in nice and close, but meanwhile, Soldier picking off quite a lot of units from Kaiser here. We'll see who comes out on top. The Cuirassiers at the back now starting to come in, and they're drawing a lot of that fire from those war wagons, and seem very ineffective right here. And it actually looks like Kaiser is a little bit on the fence about going all in at the moment. It's actually backing away to meet up with the rest of these Cuirassiers at the back.
Yeah, it went really well for Soldier, actually. And it's just because I guess he got that critical mass of war wagons really early, and Kaiser doesn't really have enough units to like continue one-shotting them with those skirmishers. Looks like the cures are going to be going in, though. And there's maybe enough Dragoons here to clean this up.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because like those war wagons that are dead kind of look like they're alive as well. It can be really misleading. I guess that kind of works in Soldier's favor in a way to sort of scare Kaiser off, and Kaiser has certainly been scared off now as the 2 Falks sitting at the back here aren't able to get into that fight and swing it in his favor. So he will be backing away for now, losing most of the or all of the Cuirassiers at this point. And meanwhile, just backing up. Like, at what point, though, do you start thinking, hey, let's get some raiding done? I was about to say get some raiding done and see Soldier immediately with some 3 Ulan waiting for Kaiser to expand over to that hunt to the north. And then he's like
already way ahead of you.
Yeah, he's already there waiting.
Yeah, and now that he's drawn the army up to this northern side as well, he's going to push towards the southern gold mine here. He knows there's likely vills here, maybe even saw the dead animal. But Kaiser kind of anticipating that possibility and moving the CDBs preemptively.
but not anticipating it enough.
Yeah, he's coming back in now that the army is close enough. Like, these units do not pick off CDB very easily with that 40% range resistance, so he's not too scared about them getting caught.
He's going to see the cannons now, though. I don't think he's seen the cannons up until this point. Maybe Soldier just caught a glimpse of them there. But here we go. The engagement coming in now. The cannons are a little bit out of position. They're not shooting. But the Ulan look like they're going to go down. So those cannons will get away with this. They will start firing upon Soldier's army, going for those war wagons up in the north. But the
cannons don't actually do much here, though. There's not a lot of infantry for them to target, and they're pretty ineffective against the cavalry. So this is actually looking maybe good for Soldier. No, with the villagers coming in, it's going to be probably pretty hard to deal with this. But he is going to pick off the Falcons, which could help him later if he manages to drop a barracks at some point.
Yeah, I love how the couriers just come in. They're like, nah, get out of here. So many of them. And he doesn't even have greatcoats or blunderbuss, but there's still enough to sort of sway the fight a little bit.
Yeah, and, Soldier doing a good job of not focusing them either, as they do take they take a lot of damage. And you don't really want to be fighting them if you can help it. But, yeah, pretty costly trade for Kaiser overall. Yeah, especially with the villagers fighting instead of gathering.
Seems like quite a close game at the moment. We've got 1,000 coin being shipped for Soldier as well. And more war wagons continuing to come out across the map, as well as the Ulan that keep coming with every shipment. But, yeah, those Ulan looking to raid now. And meanwhile, you know, Kaiser's trying to get the walls up in the north. Question is, will he get them up in time? There's one wall piece here that is open still, and the courier's not going to build it. It's in! So unlucky timing for Kaiser there, but those Ulan are in.
He was totally anticipating that was going to happen, but just not on top of getting it down as soon as possible. So we're going to lose at least 3 CDBs here. Looks like maybe 4 and forced to run. Okay, only going to get 4, but I mean, the Ulans are trapped inside here now, so it's not for free.
No, it's not for free, but I guess they did also come for free with the shipment, so, you know, he wants that 1,000 gold anyway. I guess the 3 CDBs were just icing on the cake, and you know what? He's still in there with another Ulan. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he'll get another kill. He gets cleaned up right at the last second. Man, those Ulan raids are scary.
Yep, but looks like the goats now almost fully fattened, going to be moving next to the CDBs, so this will give him a really nice boost to his economy that has sort of been taking some hits recently. And yeah, that's going to be nice for him, but the war wagon's going to come and disrupt that. Going to be forced off, but when the skirmishers arrive, maybe he can do something here.
Yeah, we just got cavalry combat coming in as well. That will affect those war wagons. But yeah, I'm so excited for these goats. There we go. He started taking them now. You can see a huge food boost. You did send the 1,000 coin as well. So do you think that Kaiser's thinking about aging here? It feels like this is not the time to age.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be able to get away with aging. No. Looks like he's just investing that into a lot of units. You can see in the units in Q tab, he's actually over-queued in his military buildings, so he's got more than a full batch each. So he's got a lot of resources coming in. Gonna take some time to spend that, though, and Soldier might have a timing where those resources haven't quite been spent yet. Coming in on these villagers now, with the skirmisher advantage.
Here we go. Ulan at the back as well. They're looking for an opportunity. Of course, the Dragoon's going to keep them at bay for now. And Soldier just going toe-to-toe with the skirmishers of Kaiserklein at the moment. Really awkward fight with this wood line here as well. They're both trying to get into position, but these trees are blocking everything. And I think Kaiserklein's using that quite well to his advantage, picking off a few of these skirms while the rest of the army is fighting the house. That's surely not right.
Seems okay. I mean, he's got the skirmisher advantage for the moment, so he can trade effectively with the skirmishers while taking out that house. But yeah, I mean, it's not like Kaiser needs that house, right? If we look at the population, he's nowhere near close. But it looks like the Ulan's going to be getting onto the skirmishers, and the Dragoon's falling very fast as well. This could be the end of the game. CDB not joining the fight just yet. Just going to be continuing to gather, and yeah, looking at the military population, it looks like Soldier coming out decisively ahead in this engagement.
Yeah, that was very nice. Those Ulan getting up there. They've got the veteran upgrade and cavalry combat as well. Right before that fight started, we saw the Dragoons getting the cavalry combat upgrade, but they did go down a little bit too quickly. There are more dragoons reinforcing, but the villagers here on the left side for Kaiser all being forced to fight, and Kaiser just can't afford to be losing more villagers here. He's really losing a lot of CDBs in this game, and more CDBs going down is just painful, and GG is being called. Great game from Soldier here, really close match for quite some time, but just pulling ahead with some raiding and doing a really good job of cleaning Kaiser up at the end there.
Yeah, I think Kaiser being a little bit surprised at the effectiveness of those war wagons as well, and I think part of the reason Soldier won this game is actually because he committed to those to that war wagon mass. Like normally, I think most players would try to diversify their unit composition a little bit, try and gather up that wood to get the barracks up, which would delay maybe some houses or maybe force you to not get as many units out as you normally would like. And then if you have like sort of like a handful of skirmishers and a handful of war wagons, it's maybe not as effective as having like a big critical mass of war wagons or a big critical mass of skirmishers. So I think that was actually a good decision from Soldier to just continue investing in the big war wagon mass. And then once he got a good mass of them, it was actually kind of hard for Kaiser to deal with because he did only have a handful of each unit, right?
Right. And, it's so interesting reading the chat and seeing Kaiser being so confused how that all went so wrong for him. But yeah, those war wagons seem to work really well. And we're going to rehost the game, I guess, in a moment. But yeah, I will be right back. If you just give me 60 seconds or so, I will return very shortly and we'll get our second game going here. Great first match though, and I think these guys are going to have a really good series if we can get them going into game 2 very shortly. So I'll be right back as soon as I can here. Alrighty. So we're back, and we've got game 2 now, which will be on a map which is, I cannot remember, Baja California. There you go. Thank you, Maito, saving the day. And it looks like the discussion about that game has now moved over to Twitch chat. Soldier and Kaiser discussing what's going on. It's actually quite nice, though, that we have a Twitch chat where the players immediately come and discuss with the viewers. But we will now be going into our second match, Baja California. It looks like Soldier will immediately be locking in the French. Kaiser switching up into Russia, but I do wonder if he'll stick with Russia here or if he's going to change it.
I think he'll stick with Russia. He's pretty comfortable with it. And I think, although, okay, so personally, I don't think that Russia should win this matchup, but it's not always super easy for France. And I think this is sort of a matchup that Soldier has historically struggled with a lot. So I think that might be part of the reason that Kaiser decided to pick it here, even though it's arguably an unfavorable matchup.
Okay.
Just because it doesn't fit Soldier's playstyle all that well. So should be an interesting game.
Yeah, I've not seen this matchup too often. Looking forward to seeing how this one goes. Do you think Kaiser will play this very aggressive and go with like a forward blockhouse, keep the pressure up, or do you think that they might look toward the water and play a more boomy game?
Kaiser's not much of a water player usually. I imagine he'll probably go for the standard opener, like you mentioned, with the forward blockhouse and the 5 Cossacks coming first, and just trying to keep France locked up in his base. Could follow up maybe with a stagecoach or something like that. Doesn't have to be super all in. But yeah, I imagine that's likely what he'll do, just because it's what he's most comfortable with.
Right, for sure. And we saw like a lot of times with Russia, like trying to keep their opponent contained, stop them from getting out on the map. But of course, you do have to be careful that they don't slip some units out and start raiding you still. I think I remember seeing a game yesterday on, I think it was between ZeroEmpires actually and ZeroEmpires. It was that game. And ZeroEmpires kind of had ZeroEmpires locked in his base, but ZeroEmpires was just able to raid around the map anyway, so it didn't really make a difference in the end if you can still get out around the map.
Yeah, definitely. Russia, of course, can't get down that stable super early, and since they have that forward building, sometimes their villagers are a little bit harder to defend because they don't have the cavalry out super early. So it's definitely an option for ZeroEmpires.
And it looks like Kaiser is indeed locking in the Russians. He did say he was counter-picking, and then he said, yep, I will play Russia. So it's going to be a France versus Russia matchup here on Baja California. And to answer the question from Drill in the chat, is this usually an AoE 3 channel? Usually it is an AoE 3 channel at least once a week, but we're doing AoE 3 all week this week. We do AoE 2 as well as some other games as well. So keep an eye out for other games. We'll be doing EscapeAoE 2 show matches, EscapeAoE 2 tournament content here, and obviously AoE 3 as well. So enjoying it a lot at the moment as we go in now and spawn into our second game. It's going to be Kaiserklein versus ZeroEmpires Game 2. I do need to update the scoreboard because it is 1-0 to ZeroEmpires so far. Kaiser spawning over to the west of the map in the red as the Russians, and ZeroEmpires in the blue as the French. Maito, you did say that you feel this doesn't favor the Russians too well, but tell us how Kaiser can sort of swing this game into his favor here.
Basically, how you win any game as Russia is just apply just enough pressure that the other person feels like they can't go up to the fortress age. Because Russia is quite strong in colonial, but once you get up to fortress and stuff like that, Russia sort of has trouble because they don't have the greatest unit shipments in the world. They have to get veteran upgrades on all of their units, whereas a lot of other civs don't. They get sort of those shadow tech units like the skirmishers and the dragoons and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, where was I going with this? Yeah, so as long as he can prevent ZeroEmpires from feeling comfortable enough to go up to the fortress age, he's got a good shot.
Okay, so we'll see if he can do that. That's going to be his objective. Someone just chatting here. He's like, "You're not Germany. Why are you not Germany? I'm sad about this." Wondering why he would be sad that he's not playing Germany. I think we just saw Germany versus France, but we're not seeing the repeat of that. And I know Kaiser's sort of, he said yesterday, his favorite civ or his most comfortable civ is the Germans.
Yeah, I think ZeroEmpires picked France, maybe anticipating Germany from Kaiser. And I think that is maybe normally what Kaiser would go for, but maybe he just prefers Russia on this map. But yeah, I think that's definitely why ZeroEmpires went with France to begin with.
Right. And, at this point, it isn't going to be a rematch of the last match, but we'll see if there's anything in the decks at the moment. I don't think there's any water at all here from ZeroEmpires, and you said that Kaiser is not really a water player. He also has nothing on water in his deck either, so it looks like both players will actually sort of ignore the water here. Do you think there's a possibility for a dock and some fishing ships anyway? Obviously, we're playing on the ESOC patch here.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, but probably not going to be a priority for either player here. It's kind of maybe one of those things you'll go for where either you need to desperately regain some economy, or else you need to convert a lead into a serious advantage,
right?
Or something like that. It's definitely an option still. It's just Not one that players are going to be looking to go for very early.
Okay, it's interesting, and I just like that so much about AoE3, right? Like, you just have that option. You don't have to go for water if water is present. And in AoE2, it's like, if water is on the map, you go for water. That's generally how it works. But Kaiserklein here, going for this 80 wood treasure. It looks like he's coming out ahead in treasuring at the moment. Soldier picked up 95 wood, 30 coin. But Kaiser's going to get 150 coin, 75 coin, and 75 coin and this 80 wood. So he's got quite a lot of treasure there. Soldier just getting the 60 food though as well.
And part of that advantage is just coming from the fact that it was a wood start, so Soldier was able to invest in that trading post, whereas Russia doesn't really have any way to invest that wood effectively in the early game, so he can sort of have a little bit more freedom with his Explorer on the map while Soldier's tied down constructing that TP. And that sort of nets Soldier some resources as well, right? Like, he gets probably an extra 100 or so food from getting that villager shipment a little bit earlier. And oh, that's cute. Blocking the foundation with the native scout.
Yeah, that's good. And they're both up to Colonial, pretty much the same timing here. The market for Soldier coming in now as well. Obviously, that would start meaning that Kaiser had the market earlier, had hunting dogs already, whereas obviously Soldier favored the TP there. But the blockhouse coming up in the front of the map, obviously Soldier knows it's there. His native scout was in the area, still is in the area. And we'll see Kaiser applying that forward pressure here. It's kind of interesting as well, because he could always turn around and siege that trading post if he doesn't find anything in Soldier's base.
Yeah, which is maybe kind of okay for Soldier, because at any time that Kaiser isn't sieging that trading post, he'll know that the army is likely somewhere like in between the forward base and his own base, right? Or looking to apply pressure at some point. So it will draw a little bit of attention away from him, and as well as give him some information if it doesn't draw some attention away from him.
Yeah, apologies for that. Just had some notifications popping up. I should close Game Ranger when I'm not using it, because it's very obnoxious and you cannot stop it from sending you notifications, it seems. But yes, so we've got a freeze.
My game just crashed, actually. That's unfortunate. Can you
I can
maybe
screen share with you. Yep, that's no problem. We'll just hide my screen for a minute. I'll bring up the screen share and then we're all good.
That was weird.
So yeah, whoever's in the office, just change back. There we go. I'll screen share you here. I have to click on the screen. Right, there we go. This should be fine, I think.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Do we have to click on drop on you?
Yeah, you can just drop me. It's fine.
Okay. Should be good.
Sorry about that.
No worries. It happens. And we're going to drop you now, and then we'll continue on. So hopefully the screen share is working. Let me know if there's any issues with that. We'll try and fix it. But sorry, we were saying that... I can't remember what we were saying, actually. But we do see that there's 5 Muskin queue.
Yep, and likely a 5 Cossack shipment on the way as well. Just sort of the standard thing for Russia to do. There it is. So he's got a little bit of time here where he'll have some units out, and Soldier won't have as many out. He's got 3 Hussars just sort of hiding in the back. He doesn't really want to take the fight just yet. So he can sort of force some idle time, maybe kill a couple CDB if he's lucky. But this Rax is actually quite far away from the town center, so it's going to take quite a bit of damage here, maybe force a Minutemen pop a little bit earlier than Soldier would like, or something like that. Looks like the Explorer coming in now to snare the muskets.
The Cossacks getting snared as well. The Minutemen do get called. So this is kind of good for Soldier here as he pushes this back. What's better, 5 Cossacks or 3 Hussars?
5 Cossacks probably have the edge over 3 Hussars. If it was 4 Hussars, however, it might be a different story. But yeah, either way, managing to force back the army there, Kaiser will just take his consolation prize in sieging down that trading post instead of the barracks. But Soldier shouldn't be too upset about that, most likely.
Yeah, and Soldier obviously quite far ahead on shipments now with that trading post. He's got one queued up at this point, just as Kaiser sends his 700 wood. So they're actually both very close together in sort of their shipment priority. They both went through an eco shipment, they both went through a military shipment, and now they're both sending 700 wood. But obviously Soldier's going to be one shipment ahead here as the second blockhouse is now being built. What do you think? I mean, in fact, the trading post is still up, but what do you think Soldier's shipping next?
It might be like 8 crossbows or something, actually. Just looking at his build so far, he hasn't invested in Coeur de Bois yet, which means he might be looking to sort of break this blockhouse very early. But it doesn't look like he has enough units to do that at the moment, so 8 crossbows would definitely help. Hussar's going to be coming in trying to force the issue, and this is sort of because he knows that Kaiser invested into that 700 wood shipment, because you can see that second blockhouse going down, so he knows that it's going to be a little while before he has some more units coming. And
seems to go quite well for Kaiser here, actually, to be honest. But the 8 crossbows coming in now should be able to help to clean this up a little bit. Kaiser going into melee mode with a lot of those muskets to try and catch out the Hussar, which are now all down. But the 8 crossbows decisively turning that fight into Soldier's favor by the looks of things. But more muskets to come. And with that next batch of muskets, it should be enough to send Soldier away. And certainly, even if he had cleaned up that army all entirely, he wouldn't have been able to siege both of those blockhouses down, I think, with a small army there. We do see 13 Charlottes, though, quite a big shipment of units, but there aren't any cavalry out either, actually. Oh, no, sorry, there's 4 Hussar at the south. I was going to say, I guess if there's no cavalry on the map, the 13 Charlottes is really good, right?
But now this is sort of reached the point where Russia's sort of almost met their win condition, because France hasn't sent those CDB. They're maybe starting to run a little bit low on hunts in their base. It's a little bit difficult for them to maybe consider aging after that timing has failed. Like, his game plan was sort of like, I want to break the blockhouse before he can get that second blockhouse up and really secure the map, and then I'll be safe to do whatever I want from there. But since that's failed, he's sort of locked in colonial here, where Russia is definitely a lot stronger as the game goes on. And so this could be a tricky situation for Soldier.
Yeah, he did send 700 coin, but he's investing that into unit production here. And we do also see 700 coin from Kaiser as well. A little bit of a raid coming in from Soldier here, while at the front he does actually siege down whatever that was. Was that his market?
That was the market, yeah.
Yeah, that was his market. But yeah, I think this is looking pretty good for Kaiser at the moment. People in the chat favoring Kaiser in this matchup as well. 70% voted for Kaiser here. And you mentioned it earlier on, that barracks is quite far forward, and it looks like that will be Kaiser's next target. Perhaps going to siege that down, but it does indeed actually back away. I'm surprised. I thought he might just take the free damage there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit concerned that there could be some more units out than he's really ready for, and he hasn't really spent that 700 gold down just yet, so he's a little bit weaker than he would have been if he sent something like 4 Cossacks at the moment, right? So he's just going to wait a little bit until he can spend that down, until he can get his next shipment in, and then maybe he'll go in for a little bit of a safer timing push.
I kind of like his position here as well, actually. He's denying these hunts just at the north of Soldier's base. The sheep here and the pronghorn. They're actually both being denied, which means that Soldier has to go down to the south, and he's kind of keeping his army close by there as well, just in case, I guess, a Cossack raid comes in or something. Kaiser does now send the 4 Cossacks, so we might see him chipping away at that barracks very soon. Or maybe, if he's got the scouting info, which I assume he will have, maybe making a play toward these hunters in the south.
Yeah, it might be a little bit tricky to push down to the south, so it looks like he is going to go onto that barracks, which is quite exposed, and with the Cossacks now mixed in here, he's probably feeling pretty safe to do this, and Soldier not going to have an easy time to respond to this. Boy, looks like it is just going to go down for free.
Barracks just disintegrated right there, and here we go. We might see the big fight coming in here. Soldier with a lot of Hussar. Very few musks, actually. It's just those crossbows at the moment. And mostly Hussar. Is this the right composition for him? Does he just want to keep making the crossbow, or would more musks have been advisory?
Sort of either is all right. I think. But you do sort of want more cavalry than anything else against Russia in general, just because their musketeers are a little bit weaker than other musketeers at dealing with cavalry, and they, strelets do like 0 damage per shot.
Yeah.
And Cossacks as well don't do super well against other cavalry until they start getting those big upgrades in.
All right, well,
but
here we go. Soldier here
Yeah.
coming in with the Hussar on the front line. This could be the final fight, actually. We'll see how Kaiser can do. He's using those trees there to kind of prevent the Hussar from getting around the back, using the melee mode as well on the musketeers at the top. This looks like it's going really well for Kaiser, and Soldier might just have to bring the CDBs into fight, but he's absolutely overwhelmed now, and those Cossacks will make mincemeat out of those crossbows. So very well played by Kaiser. Looks like that's the winning move, as Soldier calls GG right there.
Yep, and that's just how it goes when you manage to flop on that timing. And yeah, this is just something, as Kaiser's sort of pointing out right now, that soldiers historically never liked playing against, so it's just not something he's comfortable dealing with. And regardless of whether or not the matchup is actually Russian favored or not, it's just something that he'll struggle to deal with in general.
Right, right. And I mean, how could that have gone differently then? If he'd have got the timing and he'd destroyed that blockhouse before the second one was placed, do you think that immediately becomes very soldier favored?
Yeah, anytime you can kill the forward base from Russia without straight up like losing your army or anything like that, it's a really, really good situation for you, because then you have so much time where you can get back out onto the map, where you can consider aging, and it takes such a long time for Russia to reconstruct that blockhouse. They do take a lot longer to build than other military buildings, and so yeah, it just gives you so much time to set up anything, really.
Okay, interesting. And unfortunately for Soldier, he couldn't pull that off. Does end up losing in game number 2, and that now means it is 1-1. It's Kaiserklein equalizing there on Baja, California. I'll take a quick look at the post game, I guess, here and see what the graphs are saying. Military unit count, obviously quite Russia favored as usually is, but too much of a mass here for Soldier to really deal with. And then economy-wise, he also pulled ahead, I think, in villagers as well, just keeping up the villager lead throughout. Of course, the CDBs do work a little bit faster, so the gap probably isn't as big as it seems, but Kaiser keeping that up. But there you go, game number 2, and we'll come out here and go into game 3 if Soldier still has time. I think he will still have time, at least I hope so.
Hopefully, yeah. It'd be nice to get at least one more win on the board so we can have a little bit of closure to the series, potentially, instead of leaving it tied at 1-1. It looks like he is hosting, so
I would hope so. Now we're on Troll England.
Good old Troll England. I like it.
You can join. It looks like we've. Oh wait, no. You need to go. We need to go back.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want me in the game, you'd have to go back probably, but we can continue screen sharing as well. Either is fine.
Oh, they went back. Okay, I was just typing. We can screen share if you. We can screen share if they don't want to go back. But looks like we'll be able to get you back in the game here, as the game was cancelled. So if you want to rejoin, we can go back in and we can stop the screen share now.
All right. Looks like Kaiser might be hosting a new lobby.
No, we're in the same one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're in. So some people saying like about trying to go up to age 3 as France. Is that a possibility as well? Like trying to turtle up, go age 3, and then go for goons and skirms perhaps?
Yeah, you definitely can. It's pretty difficult to push into France in the early game, just because of the strength of the CDBs. So if you really make good use of that, you can get up to Fortress pretty early and pretty safely, and then get out some really, really strong units that Russia really has trouble dealing with, like the early Falconets or the Cuirassiers, especially skirmishers as well. All of those units are just things that Russia really struggles to deal with. Yeah,
right. And they have that 3 Cuirassiers shipment as well, which we saw earlier. Didn't really work out for France and for Kaiser in that first game, but against the Russians, I feel like that's just insane, right? Like the Strelets do nothing to them. The muskets are weaker. It's just such a good moment for the Cuirassiers to come in.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I think just that last game, with how exposed soldiers' buildings were, you can join now if you want.
Okay.
Like with that middle trading post and the forward market and the barracks being a little bit exposed as well, he just didn't feel safe enough to go for that fortress plan, and just tried to maybe, I think like maybe he was trying to bait Kaiser to being a little bit over aggressive as a result of that building placement, and maybe try to punish that with the early timing, but sadly was just a little bit too slow on the execution there.
Yeah, timing is everything, I guess, you know, like so many timing plays and timing attacks in this game. You know, we talked about the timing attack that was needed from Soldier to push out, take the blockhouse. You know, we're talking about all these different timings, and I guess if you don't hit it just right, or your opponent sort of catches you out, then it can really backfire and blow up in your face. But we've actually got Otto coming in for Kaiser here for New England. Expected pick or not?
Otto, of course, he says. I think, this is definitely Kaiser's go-to civ on New England, and it makes a lot of sense on New England too. With the trading posts, Ottoman, of course, they get villagers for free, but they get them very, very slowly compared to other civilizations. So the trading posts really are necessary for your economy to be any good. And with the 4 trading posts in the middle of the map, that helps a lot, as well as also having access to Abyss guns and stuff, which, with the boats that sometimes show up in the ponds, right? Abyss guns do siege damage. They
just go pure damage to them, don't they?
Like the boats have, I think, 75% range resistance or something like that.
Right.
And the Abyss guns just ignore that and can destroy them really, really easily, which gives you a lot of control over the middle of the map.
Yeah, I mean, what can't Abyss guns do, really? They seem to be a bit too good, don't they?
They can't kill El Mehdi. There we go.
Okay. There you go. That's your counter right there. I just think I made a mistake. I saw that Kaiser cancelled the game, and I thought that he was actually going to go back to the Game Ranger lobby. I did this yesterday.
Are you able to rejoin if you click join?
No, it says no late joining.
Okay, well, I'll let them know once they rehost that they can go back.
I made this mistake yesterday, and I said, well, now I know I won't make the mistake again, but that was different. There we go. Looks like Kaiser's gone all the way back. So if you want to come all the way out, we can rehost when he's when Soldier's out as well. Cool.
And, no one has informed Soldier, so
okay. Well,
good.
He'll just be hosting his game alone, wondering where everyone is. He'll get the message eventually.
He'll figure it out.
Yeah. So yes, it is currently 1-1. I think this would be a really I wish Soldier didn't have to leave soon, because I would have loved to see this play out.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun.
Maybe we can coax him into staying.
Maybe.
You know, it is a Sunday, so you know it's not going to be a work thing, maybe, or maybe he does work on Sundays.
Who
knows?
Don't think he does, but I think he has social obligations, maybe. But maybe we could convince him to forgo those.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. What is a social obligation? You might have to explain that one. Sorry, all I do is sit here and cast Age of Empires. I don't know what a social interaction is.
Well, it's like if someone, like, you planned to play a best of 9 series with someone on Sunday, right? You're obligated to be there for that series.
Okay.
But instead, it's in real life or something else.
Oh, it's one of those things. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway,
oh my god! At least skip New England, lol. Seems like there's a bit of hate for New England out there.
It's a pretty controversial map, yeah. It's just standard play in general doesn't tend to work very well in New England, which means you have to be very creative with your builds and stuff like that. And it's not a map that's been played very much in recent years either, so players definitely unfamiliar with the map, and as a result, a lot of people are just really don't like it because they don't like getting pushed so far outside of their comfort zone, right?
Right.
But I really enjoy it. It's it always comes up with really interesting games.
Yeah, I think it does, and you know, it's just kind of, I guess it's one of those sort of trolly maps. People aren't really a fan, I guess, of having to deal with the ponds, and
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's kind of it's a shame, but yeah, it's one of those things. I imagine that players will just adapt to it and get used to it. But it looks like Queen Isabella is blocking the spot for Soldier, so we don't have an issue with joining here. Good moves by Kaiser there. 3k in and out of the game. Alright, so I think Soldier was talking about Portuguese.
Yeah, and it looks like he selected Portuguese as well, so looks like it could be his pick. And yeah, he's greened up, so...
Okay, there it is then. Kaiser takes the Ottomans, and it is counter-picked by the Portuguese. Is that a typical counter-pick for the Ottomans?
It is, yeah. Just because Ottomans like to be pretty aggressive early on, and the second town center kind of helps prevent that. Also, in this map, the town center sort of helps lock down the pond and stuff like that, so you can't abuse warships as easily. And then later on in the game, as Abus guns start to fall off a little bit in terms of strength, Ottoman really struggle to deal with dragoons, and Portuguese have like some of the strongest dragoons in the game.
Right. So, yeah, there we go. We're going into game number 3. We've got New England up next. It's currently 1-1. Kaiserklein taking the Ottomans here after being victorious in the last game. He got his first pick. And then Soldier counter-picking with the Portuguese. And thanks to Maito for telling us exactly why the Portuguese could be a good pick here. So we're spawning into the game. We have northeast in the blue, it is Kaiser, and then down to the south west, it will be Soldier in the red. So New England, like I said a moment ago, a sort of map which seems to be a little bit controversial. The ponds, of course, offering a lot of opportunity for map control by shipping those boats to it. I wonder if that's something we will see. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be something that happens every time.
Yeah, probably not every time, but it's definitely really strong when you get the opportunity to do it, so it's very likely that we see it.
Okay. So Kaiser immediately opening with a trading post, and obviously if you can grab all 4 TPs here, that's very, very strong. It seems like Spain are a really popular civ for this map, but Spain...
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but it looked like Soldier was going to see that treasure and walk right up to it and take it after Kaiser wasted his crack shot on it. But no, he's just going to get as much damage done onto the Explorer as possible.
Yeah, there we go, as the trading post is being built. I think he used his crack shot already to take down a bear for the 40 XP outside of his base.
You're right, yeah.
But it may have recharged by now, so Kaiser might be a bit hesitant to go up that way. But he's also now locked in combat with this Explorer, so no easy way out here for Kaiser, I think.
Yeah, it looks like for the moment he's just content to fight that, which is a little bit weird. I think he'll be able to escape, though, once he tries to do so. He has those sheep available to him as well, which can sort of help break the snare by blocking the Explorer.
Yeah,
it looks like... I think he's waiting for his crack shot so he can go for that 80 food without Soldier spotting it.
Yeah.
And then after he gets the 80 food, then he'll try to escape.
Yeah, you can use the crack shot and then get the treasure, but can he though? Because Soldier's right there, and Soldier's going to go for the crack shot, and Kaiser missed it.
Yep, and loses one of the sheep as well, but does manage to get away with his Explorer at least.
Oh no, he won't lose the second one. The other one will be deleted. Yeah, you're right. Just get out with the Desployer. The Explorer. That's a new one, isn't it? I have no idea where that came from. But what's the bug? What's the bug that happened there?
I don't know if it's actually a bug, but sometimes when a Treasure Guardian dies and you immediately click on the treasure, pick it up, it gives you like this click sound where it's like, oh, you can't do that right now because there's still a Treasure Guardian or something. And I think it has to do with the point in which you click in like the animal's death animation or something. And so sometimes it just prevents you from picking it up that way.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not sure if it's actually a bug, but it's definitely something that happens from time to time that can be pretty annoying.
Okay, well, if it is a bug, maybe that's something to get AoE 3D to fix.
That would be nice for sure.
One of the many things. This is interesting. He sent first shipment navigator. Is that normal?
Oh,
That can't be normal.
this is really smart. This is not normal, but this war dog will help. You can see he's positioning it too, right along the path the explorer have to take to get to these trading posts. So he can really just harass this explorer the entire time. And also, if you notice, this dog doesn't have a negative multiplier against villagers. So any forward villagers that come across the map as well will take a lot of damage from this war dog and potentially just deny a forward base altogether. So I really like that decision from Soldier, actually. And it's going to prevent Kaiser from really doing anything. You can see he's just sitting at home with his explorer, regenning some HP, waiting until he hits up to Colonial, and no forward villagers coming across the map either. So
I'm loving the banter between these two players. It's great. And Kaiser did send a villager forward, but he saw that dog and he was like, yeah, I'm not fighting that. It's pretty buff, actually. 322 health. And like you say, no negative multiplier against villagers. So he's going to start chewing away at the ankle of that miner there. And he'll send him back into the TC. But yeah, it's interesting. He doesn't get the TP. It looks like Soldier's quite happy to let Kaiser have the one TP. He doesn't seem to be going for any of the others himself. And in fact, I really like this as well. He sent the Tomahawk, which he picked up earlier, to guard the left TP as well.
Yeah, really nice play from him so far. And Kaiser's going to have to sort of switch up his plan a little bit as a result. Looks like he's going to be trying to loop around to the top side, but as you said, there is that Tomahawk there keeping tabs on that trading post if Kaiser goes for it.
And he's going for it.
Kaiser might go for a fast fortress or something instead, but no, actually, looks like he does have some Janissaries in queue. So maybe just going to use those Janissaries to try and regain control over the middle of the map and these trading posts.
Yeah, we do also see the trading post and the town center coming down from Soldier. Seems like a great position there as the Tomahawk starts to engage the Explorer. That's going to be annoying because that Explorer, I imagine, will not have time to finish this trade post. Oh, it's hard to say.
It'll be really close.
I think he's got it. I think he's got this.
It
the
looks like
Tomahawk attacks too slowly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he is going to get that up, but he will lose that Explorer.
No. The dog coming! The dog coming!
The dog could be big.
Oh, he's got it. So close. So close.
And some Janissaries getting down in the meantime, some extra damage on this TC while it's under construction. He could actually maybe take this out if he gets it low enough with maybe 2 galleys shipment.
Ooh, yeah, that could be quite cool, couldn't it? I mean, I guess the town center wouldn't fire back if there's nothing in it, so...
It does actually fire back at ships, but it doesn't it doesn't do a whole lot of damage that it would really kill them super fast. So if he gets enough damage done, he could sort of send that to finish it off.
Right, but he does end up sending 700 gold. And actually, I mean, he's under no pressure anyway. There is a Rax here, and there are 6 muskets queued up, but there's already 10 Janissary out, so it should be quite nice, although Minutemen do get called now. Still, Kaiser will back out there. Quite a bit of siege damage done on that TC, so at the very least, I mean, he might end up forcing soldiers to pay to repair it, and for free damage, that's not too bad.
Yeah, for sure. And
we see Abascun.
Yeah, the Abascuns are going to be really nice against this as well. What was I going to say? Looks like he did actually go for Stagecoach as well, despite only having 2 trading posts, and one of those trading posts being under control by Soldier. And that's kind of, maybe he just feels like he has to do that because his economy will be so poor if he doesn't do that anyway. But yeah, it looks like more Jans coming in here. Just going to keep sieging that town center a little bit while the units are away, prevent him from repairing that. And, yeah, we'll see how this works out once he gets the Abus guns out, because that's going to be the big power spike.
It will be, and meanwhile, Soldier is aging, so this could be really good for Kaiser with that power spike here. We're going to see, well, I say he's going to age. I mean, he's about to if he does indeed go through with it. But yeah, the Abus guns coming out. TC going to come under fire, and obviously the muskets and the Minutemen here really shouldn't be too much difficulty for Kaiser to clean up. But yeah, the age up's coming in, and we've got the Admiral of the Ocean Sea.
Yeah, that's going to give him that caravel that he could potentially place in this pond here to help defend this town center. So he just needs to keep that town center alive. However, you've got to remember that the Abus guns, of course, do a lot of damage to the warships, so we'll have to be a little bit careful. And yeah, there's that shipment point going down in the pond right there. Kaiser also moving his villa up to the pond as well, though, so he's also going to be changing his shipment point, probably sending galleys as his next shipment here. And, 2 caravels coming as well for Soldier.
Yeah. He wants to make sure, I guess, he dominates the water here. Interestingly, the trading post is about to be... Well, I think he wants to sneak this up, but might be difficult. We've got a Sea Tiger coming out. 2 Sea Tiger, in fact, coming out. I'm not really familiar with this. I don't know how the Sea Tiger's going to do. I'm guessing it's basically like a Caravel, but it does look a little bit cheaper. But there's the Abyss guns. So that Caravel is going to go down.
Yeah, look at how much damage they do that Caravel. It's insane. And it goes down very, very quickly. But yeah, the galley there, it's, as you said, very similar to a Caravel. I think it does slightly more damage in exchange for slightly less hit points. But yeah, Abyss guns very balanced against boats. And this is why he picked Ottomans on this map, right? So he could just keep control over those pawns and doesn't have to worry about them really threatening his land army all that much.
Oh, and there you go. The TC is surely going to go down now as the rest of the muskets and the Explorer are slowly taken down. Sea Tiger's coming over to help as well. And meanwhile, also Kaiser timing that nicely to get the TP up as well. So he'll have 3 TPs with the Stagecoach. And after taking the TC, he should very easily be able to take down the trading post as well. The 4 villagers running away now. And I think if he... What do you think? Does he go for the barracks here or does he go for the trading post?
I imagine you probably go for the barracks. It's a lot more costly to try and replace that, but looks like he's going to be going for a little bit of both.
Yeah, why not?
It looks like Soldier does actually manage to clean up the galley as well, so that's going to give him a little bit of control over the middle part of the map here, but he has to be careful about the Abyss guns.
Yeah, they're actually heading over. Right
yeah,
now.
it's gonna buy him some time though, right? Like these Abyss guns aren't gonna be sieging or pushing his base while they're looking for this Caravel, and he's just gonna try and hide as far away as possible.
I love the banter between these two. They're like, it's not a Garger kind of banter. It's like a wow, yeah, what the hell just happened? Like, I can't believe that happened. Oh my gosh. Well, the Abyss guns are still quite scary though.
Yeah, they are still scary for sure. But looks like he's just going to try and restrict the pathing of the reinforcements here as Kaiser tries to push out across the map. It also can apply some pressure onto this trading post, as he's doing now. But going to have to be careful with those Abyss guns still.
Oof. He's got a micro this like all the time. There we go. He's going to go for a volley now. And, well, the Abyss guns
all of those cannonballs
tearing through them. I can't believe that.
They're
crazy.
So good.
How does a guy with a gun manage to tank 3 boats with, like, 20 cannons? Ugh. It's insane. But, yes, he's up, and he's got a second TC at home. Barracks in the back. We've got Cazadors being trained now. Seems like a decent response. What are the Abyss guns really going to be countered by at this point?
It's kind of hard to find a counter at them for them at this point. Well, honestly, they're just kind of countered by numbers. Because they're very costly, right? And the Ottoman economy is not super strong, usually, right. Although this game he's doing quite well for himself. But in, like, equal numbers to lower numbers, they just dominate almost anything. Like, you take a look at those Cazadors, and they have 50% range resistance, which is kind of the selling point of this unit.
Right.
But it's completely negated by the Abyss guns' siege damage. So he kind of needs something like Dragoons. Even organ guns wouldn't be enough because he doesn't have enough units to really prevent the Abyss guns from just walking up and sniping those.
Right. So yeah, just clarify this. Just clarify this for me. So the Cazador has 50% range resist. The Abyss gun has 40 ranged and 15 siege. So that means he'll do 20 range damage and 15 siege. And we'll do the quick maths. He gets 35 damage per hit. Is that correct?
No.
No? Okay.
So can you repeat that real quick?
Okay, so the Cazador has 50% resist of range damage.
Yeah. And
the Abyss gun has 40 ranged attack. So he'll resist half of that, which is 20.
Okay, no. So you see the little icon next to that ranged attack? The little cannon icon on the Abyss guns there? I mean, that's the type of damage it does. So
okay.
Yeah, if you click on
it's 40 siege damage.
Yeah, so it ignores that resistance.
Okay,
So
but like,
it'll do.
okay, got it. Now I get it. I was looking at the siege attack underneath as well, and I thought maybe it was just that they were different things, right? The
Yeah.
siege attack is then against buildings, and ranged attack
Exactly.
is siege attack technically against units.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And that's what makes the Aegis gun so powerful.
Right, trying to wrap my head around that, but got it now. And also getting it is Kaiserklein into the H3 and has 2 Falcons as well.
Yep. And Soldier not too happy about losing a total of like 6 or 7 caravels in this pond so far. I think 6 actually in total, which is just brutal. That's a massive investment. Taken out pretty much by the 10 Aegis guns and 2 galleys by themselves for just the loss of the galleys.
Yeah, I mean, just think what else that could have been, right? That 3 caravel and 2 caravel shipment. You know, it could have been so much more. It could have been some muskets. You know, it could have been I don't know, some more gold or food.
Yeah, definitely. So looking to be in a pretty good position off the back of that, Kaiser is. And with the Falconets coming and getting those veteran upgrades on the Janissaries and the Aegis guns, he's going to be pushing out across the map. And Soldier's army is looking rather underwhelming in comparison.
Yes. A little bit spindly, isn't it? I mean, you said he needs numbers. He's got 23 military unit population against 67 here. Those cannons as well, if they're protected, they should do pretty well against the Castador, I imagine.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just going to be a rough situation. 1,000 wood coming for Kaiserklein behind this is going to allow him to drop down some town centers very aggressively, give him some more map control, and help him really convert this advantage into a win even more. And
Yeah, for
5
sure.
goons coming out for Soldier, but it's not going to be enough yet.
It's such a scary proposition for him to go against that. And I'm pretty sure he's glad he's got an extra 2 town centers this game because he's already lost them. And he's still got 1 TC remaining, thankfully. But there you go, Minutemen being called out now, just to try and bring the numbers down. Looks like he's focusing down the Abbas guns here. Seems to be a sensible decision, as the Castador at the back are trying to pick away at the Janissary, and the Goons are trying to come in from behind. But they're getting nailed by Abbas guns as well. And, well, the cannons still untouched, pretty much. It's going to be very, very difficult for soldiers to take this fight.
Yeah, it looks like it certainly is. And yeah, really unhappy about the Avis guns and how ineffective his castors are going to be potentially at dealing with this. But for the moment, just focusing his town center fire onto those falconets, just trying to whittle them down as much as possible before he commits to a fight. And
yeah, I guess if you can take one out of the picture and then manage to get the other one down, that would be pretty good. But yeah, Kaiser's like, yeah, but Abbas guns suck, according to the people. But here we go, villagers coming in. This is it now. Let's take down those Falks, shall we? Meanwhile, the Abbas guns at the back just going to nail everything as they come in. And, well, Soldier, he knows he's not winning this game at this point. Taking a huge hit from those Falconets, taking more huge hits. The villagers focusing down the Falks. They are now gone, going into combat against the Abbas guns. He does actually still have an economic lead, but with the army going, well, so will all of the villagers as well. And what a ridiculous game. Kaiser there, absolutely dominating it with the Ottoman pick.
yeah, their Avis guns are quite good, surprisingly. But
well abused.
They've been nerfed a little bit, even in the ESOC patch. They have slightly lower rate of fire. It's been reduced to 3.5 instead of 3, which is part of the reason some people in the community think they're bad, but they're certainly quite good in this situation.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty good in many situations, to be honest. But yeah, Kaiser there did have a comfortable game anyway. I liked the early play from Soldier. I really enjoyed the fact that he went for the Explorer upgrade to get the dog and prevent the trade posts. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out long term, and Kaiser got the trade posts later on anyway. But yeah, I think that maybe the biggest issue here was just sending those caravels. I mean, like you say, 2 and 3 caravels really achieving nothing against the Abbas guns, and that could have easily been, a lot more resources to get a bigger mass of units and maybe win that final fight if he'd have done that instead.
Yeah, I liked Soldier's plan for sure. It's just that, unfortunately, part of his plan hinged on being able to defend that town center with those warships, and as you mentioned, didn't quite turn out to be very cost effective. And yeah, if you'd played it just a little bit differently, like denied the forward base and those trading posts early on with the dog and the explorer there, and then maybe placed the town center somewhere else a little bit more defensively or something like that, maybe it could have been a completely different game.
Yeah, potentially, but it's all history now as Kaiserklein takes the second game from Soldier. It's currently 2-1 to Kaiserklein. Game number 4 will be Tar Desert. It's Tar Desert next. And this one, I think, is going to be interesting, right? Kaiser has used up Russians, and I feel like Russians are quite good here. Do you think maybe we'll see Indians here, maybe Germans here?
Probably not Germans.
Okay.
There's no trading posts on this map, and
right, of course.
Germans really kind of need that trading post to be considered a really powerful civilization, because they get so many more shipments that are so much better than other civs. Yeah. So on non-trading post maps, they're really quite a bit weaker. But India, yeah, is certainly an option.
Yeah, Kaiser in the chat as well saying, I would have kept Russia for this map, but it's gone now. He's lost with it. Won with it even. So maybe Soldier takes Russia here. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see what we get. Players going to have to check their decks real quick. Maybe Soldier has a deck. We'll see.
Yeah, well, anyway, looks like Kaiser going to be going with the Dutch, which is also an option on this map, I suppose. There's a lot of gold in base. You don't really need hunts as much as Dutch, because your villagers cost gold, and a lot of your units are more gold heavy than food heavy, as well as not requiring a trading post to be effective. So a solid pick for sure.
Yeah, I've seen Dutch a few times on this map, and like the hunts as well, right? Because the hunt's so exposed, it seems to make sense that, you know, if you can stay in base that much longer and avoid taking the hunt further away, you just sort of give yourself a lot more opportunity to go and raid without being raided too much yourself.
You can join the new lobby if you want.
Oh, great. Okay. I see. Good old Queen Isabella saving the day. But yeah, people in the chat saying I look lonely up here. I wouldn't look lonely if we had an audience. New World Championship will be live from the studio, and behind the camera right there, the one that's looking at me a bit closer, will be a lot of people. I hope a lot of people standing watching. It's a pretty big place, this. We can easily fit 200 people in here, and I hope that we can get it quite full for New World Championship finals.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Do you think there's going to be a good turnout for that? I'm really hoping there will be.
From what I've heard, it seems like a lot of people are planning on going, so I'd say, yeah, there's a good chance of it having a good turnout.
All right, good stuff. I hope so. I think we should probably do more to give information out there, put information out there for people who are interested in coming. I think there's a document which is available on eso-community.net, but I think we could probably do more to promote that and give it some more publicity. Plug the New World Champs.
Especially as we start nearing the end of the qualifying phase, right?
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, then be a little bit more hype.
Exactly. Once we know who's confirmed. A lot of people were saying like maybe H2O would play again, but obviously he didn't sign up, so maybe a bit disappointing.
I don't think he has a computer right now.
What?
He was actually trying to play. Was it yesterday?
Oh, really?
Yesterday or the day before, he and I were trying to play, and he doesn't have a desktop anymore. I think he gave it away to his sister, so he's only got a work laptop, and he was having some firewall issues, not able to join any games. So
that is unfortunate. I don't know how anyone could not have a desktop in this day and age, but
well, he travels a lot, and I don't think he's actually been living at his like owned residence for at least a month or two now. So
okay.
Unfortunately, it just didn't work out for him. But he'll be there anyway, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm looking forward to that. Maybe we'll get a show match with him on one of the PCs here. That'd be cool. on LAN. But here we go. We're in the lobby now, and the players look to be ready. Kaiserklein, as we said, going for the Dutch, and it looks like Soldier going for the Sioux, the Huns of Age of Empires 3, as I understand it.
They're very similar, yeah. Not requiring houses. This is an interesting pick, though, for this map, because normally Sioux would prefer to have trading posts, a little bit similarly to Germany, as they do have a lot of really strong shipments, and it really helps their build out quite a bit. But yeah, maybe he's got something up his sleeve. We'll have to see.
We will. So we're going into Tar Desert as game number 4. It will be the Dutch versus the Sioux. Kaiserklein currently leading the series with a 2-1 advantage, but it's far from over yet. We don't know how long we have left, but this would be a best of 9, so we'll see how long we play on for here. But we're loading in now, and up to the northwest of the map in the red, it is Soldier playing as the Sioux. Down to the southeast in the blue, Kaiserklein playing as the Dutch. Now, Maito, we talked about the Dutch and how they can play in base for quite some time on this map. Obviously, build up their banks, and they can take the coin and save their hunt for a bit longer. Do you think that's going to work out really well in their favor here, given that the Sioux seem to be more of like a cavalry-focused civilization and might want to try and get some raiding done?
Yeah, I think it should be pretty effective against Sioux, especially on this map where a lot of Sioux's tempo is going to be negated by the lack of a trading post. He does have to be a little bit careful, though, as it is suspicious that Soldier would pick Sioux on this map. I think he might have something tricky planned, so he'll have to keep his eyes peeled and scout well as the game progresses.
All right. We see also as well Soldier taking that Tiger there, and did have a little scuffle with the Envoy with his Explorer, but yeah, I like this Explorer, man. It's so cool. It's just able to travel across the map so quickly, and converting the natural units as well is really nice.
Yep, it's definitely nice for him. And it looks like for now he's just scouting as much as possible, trying to find those treasures. And he doesn't necessarily even have to start the treasures, he just needs to know where they are, and then he can sort of contest them if Dutch ever goes for them. And looks like both players are going to stumble across the 90 wood here, but I don't imagine either of them will be super comfortable taking it. Though Kaiser might start it here.
He is starting it. Soldier's immediately doubling back, and he's going to see that, yep, that lion is indeed dead. So who wins this? I mean, does Kaiser manage to pull this off, or is this absolutely going to be Soldier's advantage?
It looks like Soldier is going to pick it up with that convert, so
there you go.
It's a
Very
little
nice.
bit unfortunate for him, and that's just one of the risks involved in playing against Sioux because of that War Chief and the speed is when you start those treasures, you never know if you're actually going to get them, but you kind of just have to go for them anyway. And if you lose them, you lose them, but if you win them, then feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this case right here, Kaiserklein getting the short end of the stick. It looks like Soldier will bring the Explorer quite low as he aims to back out now with his own Explorer and see what else he can find. There's an amazing 30 XP in front of his base there, just waiting for the taking. But no, there's also 50 wood behind, and there's 30 food to the right. So it's like pretty big treasures left. But it's probably worth picking them up anyway. But yeah, I mean, he's got 3 TPs right now. On a non-TP map, that's quite impressive. But I wonder, what's the sort of standard number of TPs?
It's really just as many as you can afford to fit into your build. The more the merrier, really. Although it does depend a little bit on how many resources are actually inside your base. As you can see, he doesn't actually have his second hunt inside his base yet, but I imagine he will get that in there shortly. But if you have to leave your base super early, it might not be worth it to invest heavily into those TPs because you're not going to get that long-term bonus.
Yeah, sorry, I was just getting a little distracted there as well by the pause and the fighting at the bottom. It looks like Kaiserklein manages to equalize things out by getting the 55 coin at the bottom. I'm assuming you can't convert the Mongol Rider, for example.
No, you can convert any Treasure Guardian.
Oh, wow, okay. So you could, like, convert a Thuggee, for example. It sounds like pretty strong.
Yeah, it is quite strong. And And sometimes you will see war chief civs picked on maps that have those kinds of treasure guardians specifically for that reason, and they just get a very strong early group of units. Thankfully, those treasure guardians have a pretty big reduction once converted against villagers, so you can't really harass vills too much or anything with them, but you can certainly deny trading posts and harass explorers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In fact, that seems to be what Soldier's really going for with the converted Tiger, for example, right? Just trying to just annoy the explorer. But yeah, what you said about the TPs is interesting. Sort of, I guess you have to explain this to me because I've never played with the Sioux before. I know they give like a buff to the nearby villagers. So he doesn't want to like overinvest in putting TPs too close together, because if he has to leave his base, then the buff is no longer sort of available. Is that right?
More or less, yeah.
Okay.
It's about 3% each per TP.
Okay.
So right now he has 9% additional gathering on those villagers, on those animals there.
Okay.
So that's nice for him. But yeah, if you overinvest into it, sometimes if you have to leave your base super early, then it might not be worth it.
Right.
Plus, it's sometimes nice to leave, like it has a build limit of 10, and it's sometimes nice to leave a couple of those open because they also buff your units. I believe on the current patch it's 7% HP per TP, and if you leave a couple of those TPs open for you to construct, maybe in the middle of the map or somewhere where you're likely to fight, then it can make your army quite a bit stronger.
Right, if you go for some kind of forward or something, that could be quite interesting. Would it be worth Soldier to build another TP near to the wood at the back? Because these guys at the back aren't actually benefiting from the TP here.
Well, Sioux doesn't really need a lot of wood. They don't really build a lot of wood-heavy units, and they don't need houses, right? So basically, their wood is only going to be used for a handful of military buildings, maybe like one stable and one war hut, maybe a third military building, like significantly later in the game, and then your upgrades. And aside from that, you don't really need wood. So I don't think you really need to worry too much if your vills aren't going to be on that, as you'll get most of your wood from your age up and your shipments. Right,
gotcha. And there you go, the 300 wood coming in there with that age up, and we'll see what shipments were sent as well. It's just 3 vills for both at the moment, as the Sioux Explorer will sort of get in the back there and see what's going on. What's going on is a bank, but only one bank. Seems to be a rather small number of banks here. I would expect to see 3 or 4. But we also have a barracks and a market coming up for Kaiser, as well as a bank wagon. So he will indeed get a second bank, at least for now.
Yeah.
Is it maybe too early to expect to see that many banks? I don't know if I'm off with that.
It is a little bit too early, but if he went for, like, basically around 5:30 or 6 minutes is sort of when you see how many banks he's going for most of the time. It depends on if you decide to use that 400 wood from the age up on either a second bank or on a military building like he did right now. And so yeah, he's going to be stuck on 2 banks for a little while. He'll probably be sending 700 wood soon, maybe adding a third bank off of that. But it really just depends on the situation.
Okay. We do see the market as well, actually, which is cool because at the moment, Soldier does benefit from hunting dogs and placer mines, whereas at the moment, Kaiser just doesn't have any of those eco upgrades yet. Obviously, he does have the 2 banks, so his economic population is technically higher, but he's saying something about the market. I'm guessing he's going to say it's like, this market's just taking far too long to build. It's not building, is it, right? It's going really slowly.
No, that's really weird.
Yeah. I was noticing that. I was gonna. It's really slow.
Yeah, that's really strange. Actually, I feel like I've seen this bug.
Maybe when he builds it, it's gonna be a fort.
I've seen this bug happen a couple of times. Ultimately, not gonna be a super big deal for him, but it's really weird. Yeah, and I'm not sure.
There you go.
I'm not sure what causes it. I wonder if it's maybe the incline.
Strange.
Like you see, if you look at the way the dunes are. And the buildings positioned next to it, it looks like really weird right now. And I wonder if placing them on that incline sometimes bugs it out like that.
Yeah, that is so interesting. And hey, maybe write that one down for the Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition notes. But yeah, here we go. So we've got a second barracks up from Kaiser. We talked about Kaiser potentially sort of turtling up quite a lot here. But with the second barracks coming down, it could be quite reasonable for Kaiser to even push out because his eco is really well defended. Just sort of very closely built in and also very close to the TC as well.
Yeah, certainly is. However, he doesn't have a lot of animals left in base, right? He's got maybe enough to get him up to the Fortress Age or something like that, but at that point, he's not going to have much left. And it's actually kind of interesting, though, because he built a second barracks instead of going for maybe a third bank. So I wonder if he's actually going to go for some sort of colonial timing with a lot of skirmishers and pikemen. His next shipment maybe could be like 8 pikes or something, and he could maybe think about pushing out with that. And he could maybe catch Soldier off guard with that, because it's something that Dutch would not normally go for.
Yeah, he does have 8 pike in deck, so that does seem reasonable, and he looks like he's been building a lot of houses as well, but it will actually be 600 wood coming in now. The Sioux player, I'm quite interested by this. He's not built any military so far, and he feels really sort of safe, I guess, but maybe a little bit, a little bit too safe. Maybe feeling a little bit too safe, as Kaiser just actually have quite a large army here. We do now see 4 bow riders coming out, but it's quite a big mass of units for Kaiser already.
Yeah, and I think he's just waiting for his next batch of units before pushing. Just needs a little bit more pikemen to feel really safe moving across the map. But he hasn't seen any units from Sioux just yet, which might be a red flag telling him that he's aging. And yeah, as you mentioned, he is actually aging. He's going up with the Wise Woman, which is a very slow age up. It takes a lot longer than the sort of standard messenger politician, but it will give him a lot of animals underneath his town center, which will be nice.
Okay, that's really cool. And I think this might be a missed timing for Kaiser. He's moving out right now as that age 3 is coming in. Soldier, I feel like that's really risky. I feel like it's really risky on such an open map. But at the moment, everything is very close at hand to his town center. He can hop inside, and Kaiser won't get there before age 3 comes in. Soldier has 2 shipments saved. He can immediately start sending units here. What does he send, though? Does he send the rifle riders, the axe riders, the Wakinas? He's got a lot of options.
Yeah, I think you've got to send either axe riders or Wakina here, probably. But it's going to be tricky, because there's, Sioux not having houses, right, and also being unable to construct walls means there's not a lot of infrastructure in here to really block this army from getting in and prevent them from getting onto military buildings and stuff like that. So the stable's going to go down very quickly. Potentially could see the war hut going down as well or something. A second war hut going up as well, getting spotted by the skirmishers. Will likely manage to get that up. But this is a tricky situation for Soldier.
The corral did go down very quickly. The war hut here, though, still stands for now. We're still waiting to see that shipment coming in. And at the moment, I don't... Yeah, there you go. There it is. 9 Wakina rifle. I'm just wondering what happened to the other one. I guess he put it into queue, but this is not going too well at the moment. Those Wakina in front there getting cleaned up very, very quickly. And, of course, the bow riders do not want to engage those pikemen, so they're staying far back, and Kaiser's taking a very good engagement so far by the looks of things.
Yeah, unfortunately for Soldier, he really wanted to fight that with that 9 Wakina popping out, but kind of got sandwiched by another reinforcing batch of pikes there, which really kind of made the bow riders very ineffective in that fight. And yeah, 1 war hut going to go down very quickly. The second war hut could also go down. 3 dog soldiers going to be popping out, but with all these pikemen, I don't know how effective they're going to be.
No, I guess he's really got to try and focus on the pikemen here with those Wakina. At the very least, he does keep his war hut up, but he's lost 1 corral, he's lost a war hut as well. Not only has that given Kaiser a decent amount of XP, but he's also managed to get, negate the investment of resources from Soldier. He's going to have to rebuild them later on. So it seems to be going really well for Kaiser right now, and Soldier doesn't have another shipment in queue, so he's kind of got to deal with what he's got. He's got 6 more Wakina in queue, and I guess once those pop, he'll try and take the fight here. There they are,
yeah, and a batch of axe riders as well, and he's going to potentially just decimate this army with some good control. Going to keep those pikemen snared, but not going to stick around to take damage from them. And It's a little bit tricky, though. It doesn't have the war chief to speed up his units with that aura, so not going to be able to actually chase that army as effectively as he normally would, maybe.
I feel like this is really scary for Soldier now. You know, he's been under this huge pressure, and he's just been able to push Kaiser back. But behind all of this, Kaiser, still only on 2 banks, but has 40 economic unit population against 26. So it does look very good for Kaiser, I feel. But I guess if he's not able to stay ahead in military, he does open himself up to the possibility of losing some villages to raids. We do actually see him fortifying up now with an outpost and some walls on this left-hand side. But there are villages exposed on the right coin mine. There are villages on the front of his base as well.
Yeah, he's probably okay, though. He's up to the fortress age now, and I don't think there's any way that Soldier could really punish it at the moment, especially with these walls going down. Going to make it very difficult for these units to actually get in here and do anything, although there's a couple of villagers exposed that could get picked off. And no, not quite going to go for that.
Yeah.
But
So just saying, nice one. Is he, like, not a fan of the wall strat?
Walls are just kind of, how do I say it? Like, in the past, I guess, walls have been considered to be the counter to Sioux. They don't have a lot of high siege units.
Right.
And as well as having sort of a poorer economy than other civs because they don't need those houses, right?
Yeah.
It means that if you wall up and you actually do have resources, it can be really hard for Sioux to actually do anything about it.
Yeah, I guess their biggest siege unit really is the dog soldier, and they need to get 3 of those with 37 siege attack.
They do have access to siege dance with the fire pit, but it's pretty expensive to try and dance for that. And yeah, it's I don't know. The walls are just pretty good here. He'll have to leave his base eventually as this gold mine is running out, and these animals are not cooperating and staying within the pen, but it's still going to be really hard for Soldier to push in.
Yeah, it might be. He's coming around to the right side. He could find some villagers over there. And, of course, there is still only 2 banks. So, I don't know, maybe Kaiser could find himself in an engagement on the right side where it's maybe less favorable. There's actually a bank coming up there, which is very far from protection. So, could be a potential for a siege. Might even get it denied if Soldier comes in now. But Soldier needs to make a play here. I don't think he can really afford to sit back and just let Kaiserklein turtle. So, he will hit the gold mine. You will find a couple of villages out there. That's going to be big for him. The army does come over now. And I think he'll lose at least 4 or 5 villagers. And then maybe he'll get out of there before engaging the skirms. Or he'll go for the skirms. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks like he's going to back off. I mean, Kaiser's army is just a lot stronger in a standing fight, but it's also really immobile, being entirely made up of infantry. So Soldier just has to keep running around and abusing his mobility and trying to keep Kaiser locked down and maybe prevent him from thinking about pushing onto Soldier's base. And it's a kind of a tall order, though, right? If he wants to get away from this army right now, he has to loop all the way around to the other side of the map at this point.
Sure. And the Wakina, I guess they're a little bit faster with the Explorer, but they're still quite a bit slower than the Cav. So, villager going out there into no man's land. Get out, villager. She's trying to herd, but she's just going to get nailed. Look at that. My God, I would not want to be her. 40, armed men just... brutal. But he's going to come in now, and the pikes are quite far back. He just needs to get them in.
This is actually the dog soldier Big Button coming in here.
There it is.
So his army is actually pretty strong at the moment. He's got to be careful about those halberdiers and pikemen, though.
Oh yeah, he's really got to watch out for those. But the Wakina are doing a good job. He's losing a lot of villagers, is Kaiser. The dog soldiers at the back trying to keep the pikemen out of reach. And the pikemen's numbers starting to go down quite nicely here. We do get Minutemen on the left side as well. But Soldier making the play. This is it. It's all or nothing for Soldier. He is winning this engagement so far. He does have the military lead, but he needs to make sure he conclusively and decisively wins this. 5 rifle riders following up from Soldier now, and he'll send those forward immediately, trying to push up this hill into these skirmishers and avoiding those pikes at all costs.
Yeah, it's looking okay for him at the moment. Some reinforcing skirmishers coming out, though. But Soldier also has some units on the way. But Kaiser's skirmishers are a lot stronger than the Wakina at this point. They've got more range, they've got the infantry combat card on them, so they do the same damage as well as having a lot more HP. So I don't know if Soldier can actually continue trying to push into this.
He is certainly going to try, though. I think he's sort of committed now. He's past the point of no return. He does have a massive military unit population lead, although the Reuters will certainly help to bring down the rifle riders. And I think just the sheer number of Wakina here looking quite good. However, you've got to keep in mind as well the reinforcement time. Kaiser can easily back his army up here, whereas Soldier has to run all the way across the map, and you can see more Wakinas joining the fight. But it does seem to be equalizing a little bit more. Kaiser here continuing to fight on, and it looks like he will now be able to bring those Reuters in with the 9 Reuter shipment and start to turn this battle in his favor. Really good fight, though, and at least to watch, but it looks like Kaiser will hold, and that could have been it now. I don't know if Soldier will be able to get another big mass of units and make a push like that again.
Yeah, but he, as you said, he does manage to hold, but it wasn't for free. Like take a look at the economy. At this point, it's sort of equaled up for Sioux, which is definitely not expected in this matchup. So Kaiser not exactly where he wants to be, and with the natural resources sort of running out inside this base here, no animals really left. He's sort of walking over to this exposed hunt on the left here. The gold mine is sort of running low as well. He could be in a rough spot in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think Soldier as well, just not letting up. He's mashing that Wakina rifle train button for the life of him here. And I think it's interesting, like the skirmishers, you say, they are so much stronger. So that military unit population graph could be a little bit misleading, I guess, since they're both taking 1 pop. And they've also got the infantry combat. Is there a sort of comparable card for Soldier here? Is there like a card he has? He's only got cavalry damage and cavalry hit points. So
yeah, if you take a look at his deck, there's a card for 14 Wakina for 1,000 gold. But if you hover over it, it also improves your Wakina by their HP by 20%.
Whoa, okay.
So that could be something he sends later on to try and mitigate that disadvantage a little bit. But it's a very expensive card.
Yeah, it seems very good, but he doesn't have a gold shipment in here either. So I don't know if that's usual. Seems like that would be kind of a good synergy to put the gold shipment and the 14 kettle.
Well, Sioux actually don't have a gold shipment, so
well, there we go.
It's a little bit difficult to get that in there. But he does have a pretty strong cavalry. He just doesn't have the time or resources to really train them so much, and he's only got he doesn't have the elite upgrade on them right now. They're sort of colonial axe riders that he's training at the moment.
Right.
But that is kind of the strength that Sioux has over Dutch in this matchup. And he's going to have to try and leverage that maybe if he wants to make up for the fact that he's losing the skirmisher war.
Yeah, and I do wonder as well, I mean, maybe he's a bit cautious about making too much cavalry given how many Reuters are on the field here. What's his best option to deal with the Reuters here?
Really just the Wakina rifles. Aside from that, he doesn't really have a good answer to Reuters.
And I guess his Wakina are a little bit tied up fighting the skirmishers. So here we go, the Reuters coming in now on the right side. The cavalry from Soldier just seems to be a bit useless. I mean, they're sort of so cautious about getting into the fight because every time they do, they get kited back and immediately taken down by the Reuters. Kaiser pulling ahead here in military unit population. Economically, they look kind of even, but of course the Sioux don't get the steel traps, and that's something that the Dutch do already have in.
Although, he did age with the Wise Woman, which gives you those 12 bison, and also gives you 20% gathering onto hunted animals. So,
okay, right.
In terms of market upgrades, they're actually quite comparable at the moment.
Okay, yeah, that Wise Woman then, something that I didn't consider there. But, Kaiser, going to pick up a couple of villages here out in the middle of the map.
5 vills.
By a couple, I mean 5, right? Jeez, they went down incredibly quickly.
Yep, and he's going to be feeling pretty good about that. And now, as a result of regaining that military advantage, he's able to safely gather outside of his base on these gold mines and hunts. And without a lot of cavalry, there's not really any way for Soldier to punish that either at the moment.
Yeah, it's feeling very over for Soldier right now. I'm not one to call it too soon, but I think Kaiser just seems in a dominant position right now. He's ahead economically after picking up those villages, but he's also got this much larger military unit mass, and it seems like, from the engagements we've seen so far, Soldier does seem to have a hard time getting the positioning with the cavalry right. Oh, fire pit in the north. He's doing a dance.
Where is that? Okay.
Over here.
Might be trying to... Well, for the moment, you can normally see, if you look next to the score, you can see what they're dancing for. At the moment, if it doesn't show what they're dancing for, it's probably the fertility dance or experience dance. But he's moving a lot of villagers over to that fire pit now. So I'm not sure what he's dancing for at the moment.
And he's going to get caught. Those Reuters...
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Okay, he is dancing for war dance at the now, which is... very early. Normally you don't war dance until you're fighting. And yeah, going to be picked off by the Reuters too, but he's going to get a big raid himself. He's going to get the equal trade.
Here. This is huge. Both players going to trade hard. It's Kaiser trying to throw up the walls, but that's not happening.
Actually, Kaiser retreating from that fire pit.
Oh, wow. So this is way in favor of Soldier here. He's going to keep his villagers up, and with the war dance, I'm assuming that's going to buff his units in some way?
Yeah, it gives them... I don't know the exact percentage. It gives you a larger percentage of attack depending on how many villagers you are dancing with. But I don't know if he has enough units to win this fight, though. The Reuters is going to be picking off the Axe Riders pretty quickly. And then once the Axe Riders are down, I don't know if the Wakina alone, even with War Dance, are enough.
Yeah, the cavalry there just melting away. So many plus 20s going up in the air for Kaiser. And Soldier there calling GG immediately as soon as that engagement starts to fall apart. So Kaiser clearly coming back, leaving the fire pit in favor of fighting the army was the better decision. Even though Soldier did come out ahead in economy in the end, it didn't matter because he was doomed to lose all of these units. We also saw the cavalry upgrades coming in as well. We saw the defense upgrade and the attack upgrade as well as the elite Axe Rider tech. But it's just not enough against the Reuter here. It just seems like a really strong Civ matchup for the Dutch, if I'm not mistaken on that.
I'm honestly not sure who it favors. On this map, I think you're probably right. It definitely is favored for Dutch. On a trading post map, it kind of depends a little bit. Can go either way, probably, depending on whether or not there's stagecoach or how many resources are in the base. It's probably a pretty close matchup, though.
Okay, is that also due to the Sioux having a lot of those, military shipments here? Like if they get the TPs, then they get the military shipments, and they're able to get that power spike from that.
A lot of Sioux's strength just comes from how strong they are in early fortress and in early colonial. Because they have bow riders in colonial, that ranged cavalry, that means that you have to sort of go for very immobile units early on against Sioux, like skirmishers or musketeers and stuff like that. Because if you go for cavalry, you're just going to get shut down by bow riders. And as a result, people end up being locked in their base a lot of the time against Sioux.
Okay.
So Sioux kind of gets to get away with a lot of things that they normally wouldn't, maybe, or a lot of other civs normally wouldn't. And
so it's kind
sort
of a bit
result,
like the Russians in that sense, sort of keeping their opponents sort of contained.
Kind of, yeah. And sort of as a result, it can be difficult to feel like you can leave your base because you haven't been able to scout at all because you have these really immobile units that can't really get into your opponent's base to see what's going on. And like, if you move out too early when Sioux's army is too strong, then because their army is so fast with that War Chief speed aura, they can punish you really, really hard and quickly, and you don't have a lot of time to respond, so...
Right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that speed aura seems to be really strong, and, I guess it helps them to avoid getting snared and get out of sticky situations. Yeah, I kind of want to play the Sioux. Watching all this Age of Empires 3, it's making me want to play, which is nice. That's a very good thing. But we've got Deccan coming up next. I don't know. I'm assuming Soldier's playing on because he is in the lobby and he's hosted up, but he is just taking a phone call, so he'll be back very shortly. The betting, though, I'll give you an update then. It looks like I'm going to try that again. Jero Katsaros is in the lead with 1,999 points, or denarii. Albo is in second place with 977, and Sikandar in third place with 651. You guys are going to have to try and catch Jero here, or Gero, I don't know how to pronounce that one, I'm afraid. But keep the betting going, and good luck, have fun, because the winner will get a Steam game of their choice up to the value of $40. So it looks like we're ready here with the next one. Deccan is the next map, and Kaiser here looks like he wants France, but he's also now not sure. So
I think he's asking what map is after this one.
Yeah, if we can see the map pool, I'll let him know. I just need to be able to see that on my second monitor here. So if we can just have a quick look at the map pool again. Whoever's in the office. There we go. High Plains, Fertile Crescent, Pampas, Sierras, and then Florida after Deccan. There we go. So we can go back to the lobby now. So yeah, it's Deccan, High Plains, Fertile Crescent, Pampas, Sierras, and then Florida. Of course, if we are indeed going to go through and play the whole best of 9, then Kaiser needs 2 more wins in order to close it out. But I don't think Soldier will go down that easily. I definitely expect to see Soldier picking up another game before this series is over.
Yeah, it'd be. I think you're probably right in that sense. I think also Kaiser's civ pool is getting whittled down just a little bit. Okay. He doesn't. I feel like Kaiser doesn't play as many civilizations as some other top players. Like, he doesn't play any of the Asian civilizations. He kind of plays the Warchief civilizations a little bit, but he's not super comfortable on them. And Soldier only unable to play Germany at the moment, so he's got a lot more options available to him.
Yeah, that's very true. Obviously, as the series goes on, Soldier's going to have those options available if Kaiser keeps winning. But Kaiser still has Germany, right? And if he goes to France here, then he's still got 2 very strong civs left. And obviously, if he wins both of these games, he wins the series. So he's got a little bit of steam left yet, but I guess he can still keep going. And I don't know, maybe Germany and France is enough to see this one out.
Yeah, actually it might be. I forgot that he has Germany as well, and German and French are both his strongest civilizations, probably.
Yeah. So, sorry. I can't count. Yeah, there we go. Comet giving us the summary in the chat. Kaiser's PC died. He was unable to play. Taban filled in versus Hazard. After some games were played, we had to switch to Game Ranger, but Hazard didn't like that. Taban also tabbed out, and then Soldier jumped in to play versus Kaiser because he'd fixed his PC. There you go. Copy pasta for the rest of the year. What a story. That one's going to be passed through for generations to come, I'm sure. Oh, Aztecs. Tell me this is happening. I'm completely in the dark with the Aztecs, so I want to see this happen.
Looks like he's going to have to deck, though.
Yup. He is going to be decking.
Yeah, Aztec, kind of similar to Russia a little bit, in that they normally prefer to stay in the colonial age, although they don't have to quite as much as Russia does. So they're a very aggressive civilization. They age super early, and I guess.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I wasn't really going to say that much more. I was just going to say, I guess Soldier's probably planning on being aggressive. Matchup.
Okay. Yeah, the Aztecs sort of play into the aggression from what I've seen. In fact, I do remember seeing one game with the Aztecs against the Indians, and the Aztec player rushed down the Agra fort, and because he had his explorer nearby, he got like 1,000 XP for killing it.
Yeah,
which is insane.
I remember that game. I don't know which series it was, but I remember what game you're talking about, and yeah, that Aztec war chief just That's sort of like their economic bonus, I guess, is
Right, right.
the fact that they get extra XP from combat than other civs. So the more you trade with them, if the trades are going equal or better for Aztec, they're in a pretty good spot.
Right, they're just going to keep pulling ahead. Did the Aztecs mostly get sort of military shipments in their deck, or do they have the sort of upgrades and economy shipments as well?
They're a little bit well-rounded,
Okay.
I think. Maybe a little bit more emphasis on the military shipments for sure, but they've still got all the other like cards that are pretty standard for most civs, like the 5 villagers, 700 wood,
Okay.
stuff like that. And they have some good upgrades later on in the game for sure.
Nice. Do you play much with Aztecs yourself, or are you not so sort of familiar with playing them?
I've played Aztec off and on. Sometimes I really enjoy playing them, and at other times I really hate playing them. So it really depends. Recently, I haven't really been playing them so much, but I've played them enough to sort of be semi-comfortable with them. But I wouldn't call myself an Aztec player by any means.
Right. What kind of situations are they the most fun to play?
Uh,
So I put you on the spot now.
I don't know. I really like the most fun, I guess, is whenever you can get to late game with them. Because even though they're not necessarily the strongest civ in the late game, they have like the most fun units, I feel like, later on.
Right. Cool. I mean, maybe we'll see that here. It's probably unlikely. I think it's probably unlikely. But here we go. We're going into game number 5, if I can count correctly. That is right. Game 5. Soldier here, spawning to the west of the map in the red as the Aztecs, and Kaiserklein over to the east in the blue, playing as the French. Kaiser leading the series 3-1 as we go on to Deccan, and of course still has Germany to play with. So looking kind of good for Kaiser here, and I'm excited to see this game because, as I say, I'm not that familiar with the Aztecs, and I'm very interested to see what he can get done.
Sorry to cut you off, but
No
maybe we should consider re-hosting this map. You can see there's like just a giant like blank spot on the map, like near Kaiser's base, like sort of south of his base and to the west. There's like no resources spawned at all.
Interesting. He needs a nerf.
He's got like a lot less. He's got a lot less hunt in his base than Soldier does. So.
Okay, we'll see if he wants to rehost. Obviously,
yeah, he might just play it out anyway. But okay,
no, he's
we are gonna rehost.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair call. You're right. I mean, just looking at the map, there's a lot less hunt there, isn't there? And what about Coin? Like, he doesn't.
Well, you have a 5k gold mine in base, so you normally don't have to worry about gold until way later.
Okay,
so
right.
I feel like if the gold mines were slightly suboptimal, I feel like it's not important on this map. But the hunts are really, really bad, and yeah, I think rehosting here is good.
Yeah, I think so too. We want a fair series, and I don't know, maybe the game was just trying to nerf Kaiser a little bit, but not on our watch. Not today.
Yeah, I think Soldier would rather win in the most fair of circumstances than because of imbalances.
Oh, for sure. So we're going to go rehost now. We're launching back into the game. Nice thing is that we get this going straight away. So we're going back into Deccan now with the rehost. Obviously, that map was very bad for Kaiser, and it's only fair that we rehost it, even if he is leading the series 3-1. But yeah, here we go. We're back in. And once again, same positions. Over to the west of the map in the blue, it is Soldier, playing as the Aztecs, and then over to the east in the red, it's Kaiser, this time with a hunt underneath his TC. So much more balanced map, and going to be going into this one for good this time. So the Aztec Explorer going out into the middle. We've got a Warrior Priest as well, so I guess that's going to be good for treasuring in the early game.
Well, normally you actually want to use the Warrior Priest just to dance. On the fire pit, you can actually dance for XP. It's pretty similar to having a trading post. I imagine he'll probably send that home soon, but for the moment, while he doesn't have that fire pit up, he's just going to be using it to look for some of those yaks in the middle of the map here, I guess.
Yeah.
He will probably miss out on a little bit of XP for this, as he's gone quite far away from his base, but he will get a couple of yaks in exchange for that, so reasonable trade, all things considered.
Yep, and it does look like both players have got 4 of the yaks coming home now. These are actually they're water buffalo, right? These are my favorite animals in Age of Empires 2, because they have this really crazy animation in AoE 2 where their butts like wiggle side to side, like extreme,
I think I've seen them.
Extreme butt wiggling. Here they seem a little bit more normal, but yeah, just thought I'd add that. But yeah, he does send it home now. He's going to start dancing around. Look at her go! I'm impressed. I'm loving the Aztecs already. This is cool.
Yeah, and basically dancing on that fire pit is going to give him experience at a rate of 1 per second, which is roughly equivalent to a trading post, which is somewhere between 1 and 1.2, unless you get the early boost of experience because of that first pass, usually. So it's a little bit worse, but over time it's roughly the same. Yeah, it looks like he's not going to do anything else with his starting resources for now. He just added a market, got his hunting dogs and a house and all that stuff. But we'll have to see. He could convert that gold into wood later on, maybe to try and get that war hut down a little bit more easily if he wants to be aggressive, or maybe go for some trading post or something. But at the moment, really hard to say, I guess.
Yeah, I really enjoy this map. You know, this high resource start just sort of kickstarts the game so nicely. We do see the 3 villagers coming in a little bit later than the 3 couriers. I guess maybe that's to do with the fact that we have a TP up for Kaiser, and the warrior priest did take a while to get onto the fire pit. But we actually see walls coming in from Kaiser now to wall off that plateau. Will be scouted immediately by Soldier. And I don't know how you feel about walling on this map. I saw you playing this map. I've seen what you can do with those manor houses. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was awesome.
I think you're getting me confused with Haza. I think he was the one who did the manor houses. I was the one who played Japan, I think, on this map.
Ah, my bad.
But yeah, walling the choke on this map is definitely very effective if you're expecting aggression. Only costs 15 wood for that wall right there. And although it doesn't give you a whole lot of protection, it will go down very fast to like Puma Spearmen and stuff like that. Just scouting it might be enough to dissuade Soldier from doing anything aggressive. And if we look back at the base, I'm wrong, and he's actually sending 2 villagers forward to the middle of the map, so still going to try and be aggressive, but will buy Kaiser a little bit of time to react to that.
Yeah, definitely. And meanwhile, he's actually going to go grab the Indian rifleman, it looks like, taking out the rhino here with one of the converted rhino and tiger. Soldier's just kind of amassing this animal army. And with the Gurkha at hand and going forward here, he'll have actually quite a few units to start with. But so far, he hasn't actually dropped a military production building yet. I guess he just doesn't have the wood.
Yeah, 700 wood just arrived, so that will probably be used for the military building. I'm surprised that he's still building it right in front of this wall, though. He could have potentially moved off to the side a little bit, maybe, where there's not really a walled-off choke point. But maybe he just kind of expects Soldier to have walled it or something. I'm not quite certain. But either way, I guess having a war hut in the middle of the map is a little bit more map control than having a war hut on the side of the map. So it's not like it does nothing for him, despite being maybe a little bit prevented from doing much by the wall.
Yeah. I mean, would you prefer to have the middle of the map and then hunt later on in the game in the middle, or end up splitting your hunt north and south and ended up getting raided? I feel like sort of controlling the middle here is very nice. And there was actually a really interesting thing about the natives on this one. I think it was the vegetarianism from the Sufi mosque, allowing you to get the which one is it?
I think it's the Bhakti temple. It didn't spawn this time around.
Here. Okay, my bad.
We've gotten the Sufi and the Udasi this time around.
I see.
You're talking about the 40% berry gathering upgrade, right?
Yeah, right. Because there's so many berries on this map. Could be really valuable later on in the game to grab that. But yeah, it's just something I remember from another game. Not really relevant right now, but not a lot else happening right now either. Although we do actually see the Puma Spearmen coming over and trying to intercept the Hussar, and they will nearly get the cash. That was so close.
Yeah, it does get one hit off on Hussar, but one hit not going to be a super big deal. But he does dissuade the Hussars at least from going to raid. and he'll be able to clean up this trading post pretty easily.
Oh boy, 48 siege attack. That's going to go down, and the Rhino helping out as well. Why not? Also with the mace behind this, what are the mace good against here? They're slingers, right? So I assume they're sort of good against infantry in general?
Yeah. Particularly good against heavy infantry with that 2x multiplier. So musketeers and stuff like that, they'll do really, really well against. But Kaiser got crossbows in queue, so they're sort of roughly equal to crossbows when trading. And yeah, it looks like this house is going to go down really quickly to these Puma.
Yeah, well,
Puma, of course, have really, really high siege compared to other infantry.
Oh yeah, it's insane. Like pikemen don't even have that much siege, right? They just
the war chief. What are you doing?
No, not like this.
No.
Oh, too bad, soldier. That's very unfortunate.
Yep, that's quite a large unit and 100 XP going over to Kaiserklein. So that's pretty unfortunate for Soldier for sure. That also, if they end up fighting and he doesn't have that war chief, that will be a lot of that economic bonus sort of mitigated. He could dance it back at the fire pit, but it would take a little bit of time as well as a little bit of an investment in terms of villager seconds. But
I mean, I guess you could revive it by walking over there soon.
Yeah,
it's going up in health pretty quick. I think once it gets to 100, right, it'll be able to revive. But this looks pretty good for Kaiser here, to be honest. These crossbows seem to be doing a really effective job at taking out this army, and the Hussar don't seem to be too scared of the Puma right now. But I feel like they should be. There's a lot of Puma there.
Yeah, not a lot of answers to crossbows at the moment for Aztec. That war chief, by the way, needs a little bit more than 100 HP to revive. Not quite like explorers. And it looks like he might not ever actually be able to walk in there to revive that. So that's actually potentially pretty big if they manage to fight right now without that bonus. He'll not have quite as strong a follow-up. And that's a really big batch of Hussars coming behind this as well. France's army is actually looking really scary here.
I was going to say that there's a huge number of Hussar, and obviously the Puma Spearmen in the front here trying to get onto the crossbow. There's also some Coyote runners in there to deal with the crossbow as well. The Pumas now, they're getting onto the Hussar. That's pretty good. The Mace at the back getting free reign onto the crossbow as well. It does seem to be going quite well for Soldier, but the hero is just not getting back up. There he is, he's back, but the fight is almost over, and he's going to go back down once again unless he gets out right about now. Get out, Mr. Mohammed Rafisad. Get out.
At the very least, he's going to end up... Oh,
yes,
wait.
There we go.
No, he's walking back in, though. Okay, he is going to get out, which is good for Soldier, but he did end up losing that fight pretty hard. It went a little bit better for him than I was expecting, but it's going to be hard to defend this war hut, maybe, although Kaiser not quite feeling confident enough to push underneath that shipment point. And yeah, here comes a 5 Coyote shipment popping out, along with 5 more, so good on him for backing up. And they're going to try and go in here a little bit, just try and trade.
Yeah, he needs that aura, though. There it is. And I think this is interesting. You know, Soldier's just keeping that pressure on and trying to kite those Hussar. I think once the Hussar are out of the picture, the crossbow should be quite easy to clean here. But
a really big batch of Hussars with a 3 Huss shipment coming in. Going to be forcing him back, along with the CDBs walking up too. This is going to be him trying to break the blockhouse. Those CDB just going to be sitting underneath it to tank and provide additional damage if need be. This is a really nice choke point, though, for Soldier.
Yeah, the Puma coming out, getting onto the Hussar. A couple will go down, but the Puma will get focused very quickly by the crossbows. And there you go, the war hut coming under fire now. Yeah, these mace, I guess, just going to be absolutely useless against the Hussar, and they can't just run away forever. They will get caught eventually, and all those +7s going in the way of Kaiser. He just managed to get out a few more Coyote runners, a few more Puma Spearmen as well being shipped
this is
right
actually
now.
Really good for him.
And that's right on top of the crossbows.
Yeah, I mean, there's still the CDB here to try and take out some of the Coyotes, but this is a lot of CDB that haven't been gathering for a long time, so there's not going to be any reinforcements coming behind this. And managing to save the war hut is going to be really, really nice for Kaiser here. Managing to clean up a couple of CDBs as well, peeling up all of the Hussars. And suddenly something that was looking really good for Kaiser looks really good for Soldier.
Those Aztecs keep on coming. That was insane. Like just getting those 6 Puma from the shipment and then sending the 5 Coyote runners on top of the crossbows worked out so well in his favor. And he's far from over just yet. Kaiser saying it's hard to micro that bad. I guess he didn't have the best fight, but
well,
boy, oh boy,
yeah.
The CDB is going idle.
His crossbows were really out of position, right? They really needed to be either with the Hussars or with the CDB, but they were just kind of like on their own. And getting those picked off is really what saved the Warhut for Soldier. And now 700 coin coming for Kaiser, going to be used to retrain some of his army. But his hunts are really running low on the south side of the map here. He's gathering berries at home. He still does have a couple animals on the north side of his base, but not gathering those yet.
And there you go, Coyote Runners getting in, picking off a CDB for free, trying to get more, but there are muskets here now as well, but that's not going to dissuade the Coyote Runners at all. The Pumas, coming in as well, and the CDB is trying to fight, but man, this eco population really going in favor of Soldier right now, and I think he's going to be very happy with that trade.
Yeah, it certainly will be. A batch of Hussars coming out, though, and with the Minutemen do really well against the Puma Spearmen. They have a 2x multiplier against siege units, which Pumas are, so they actually 2-hit the Puma with good micro. So if he micros really well, he could potentially clean this army up.
We do actually have another Warhut here, though, so Soldier's just kind of controlling the choke points to the middle of the map.
Does it get denied, though?
But
Phil just barely lives.
3 HP. And I think he'll go back and finish that. He only needs another couple of taps of the hammer. And there it is. Or, I don't know, saw, whatever it is. But, Jaguar Prow Knights now. I guess these are like the cavalry of the Aztec army.
That's actually the Coyote Runners, or the cavalry.
My bad. Yeah, it's a bit confusing.
The Jaguar Knights are a somewhat weird unit, where they're a bit like a pikeman or a Puma Spearman, but they actually do slightly less damage to cavalry, but they do a lot of damage to heavy infantry, so they kind of counter 2 units.
They seem pretty strong.
They're all right, for sure. I don't know if they're really that good, but they can be good in the right situation.
Okay, well, I guess he's got a good mix of units here, so sort of covering all bases at the very least, and continuing to keep the pressure up is very nice for Soldier.
I really like this, too, just sending a few Puma back just to make sure that he doesn't get caught out by any raids or anything like that. And
really good
of course,
timing
that is
as well,
Kaiser's.
because there is a raid coming in, so this is really nice.
Yeah, I'm going to immediately run away from those Puma Spearmen. So yeah, really good job in holding on to that economic lead with those Puma. Of course, it's going to put him a little bit behind in military for the time being, but it might be worth the effort. And actually sending the 5 villagers now is going to put him quite significantly ahead in eco for the moment.
Oh yeah, my goodness. 40 economic population against 25 right now for Soldier. This is very solid, and it seems like he might start running away with this game soon. What does Kaiser do now to sort of bring this back? I guess he's not going to be able to age up. He's got to keep training units, and he's focusing now on Musketeer by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's a rough situation to be in for sure. It looks like he is going to try to push the Warhut now. With this massive muskets. And this might be the only chance he has to push in here. But I think the mace alone might be enough to dissuade Kaiser from really committing to this, although they're just walking into the musketeers at the moment.
Yeah, that did seem a bit weird. Soldier there, like, that wasn't supposed to happen, I think. But yeah, the Hussar coming around the backside will catch this army here, but does want to be careful. There's a lot of Puma as well, and it seems like a really good fight for Kaiser so far. Obviously, keep in mind that some of that military population is being held back as well to defend his economy, so not everything is in one place for Soldier at the moment. There are more mace coming over, and the Puma is still here as well. But at the moment, it looks like Kaiser might be able to continue with the siege here.
Yeah, it looks like that Warhut is probably going to go down. That was a really good trade for him, and he's suddenly not looking out of this game just yet. Although he is still gathering from berries, which is always painful.
Oh, he is in his base, I see.
Yeah. That
So slow.
mitigates sort of the advantage of that steel traps quite a bit.
Right, because he's not.
Which means that Soldier's economy is actually even better probably than it looks.
Yeah, and where can he go now for Hunt? I mean, it's either really far down in the south or really far in the north. He's actually going to move over to the elephants and the Nilgai in the north here, but that seems really risky, leaving his sort of economy exposed like that. And I guess that's just a result of not being able to get on the plateau, which is where Soldier is right now, and he's got it quite well defended. But that second war hut coming under fire from the muskets, I don't think he'll want to sit under there and take this. We've got Coyote runners coming out in front, and the Pumas running down the hill as well. The mace, though, snared at the back by the Explorer and unable to get involved.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of units for free as a result. But again, like, it doesn't really matter so much if he's taking these really poor trades. As long as he can hold on to that map control and that economic lead, he should be all right.
Yeah, speaking of that, though, he did just get raided by some Hussar in the north, and so, you know, it's an 11 economic lead, but probably more, as you said.
You should click on...
Oh,
if you click on the
yeah.
eco bar? Yeah, there you go.
My
so
bad.
It's not quite that large, but it is still a decent eco gap, just because of the berries.
Yeah, I usually have the recalculated on. I just forgot to click it that game.
Yeah, no
so
worries.
There you go. 43 against 38. So it's not that big. But as you said, it might be bigger than it seems because of the berry gathering. Anyway, yeah, Kaiser grabbing the sort of hunt toward the north. And it seems like this game might go quite long. It seems like at this point, a bit of a stalemate almost, you know. Kaiser can't really push in comfortably, but Soldier also can't, you know, take a decisive fight. So at this point, we're just seeing the upgrade coming into Coyote, and he doesn't really have that many of them, but I guess he'll maybe focus on building more now. And both players just massing up more units. Do you think this will go to the Fortress Age, or are we going to see some kind of decisive colonial fight?
It's always really hard to age up to Fortress when you don't have resources at home, because you want to just keep making units to defend those resources, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like Soldier going to be trying to come in here, taking, again, a lot of losses on those melee units. And this is looking really, really good for Kaiser.
Yeah. The mace going straight into the Hussar there, and the Puma's just stuck at the back, not able to get into position at all, and Kaiser is cleaning house with these muskets. I guess these Aztec units just aren't strong enough, and yeah, Soldier is indeed very sad. I would be pretty sad. It looked quite promising at first, but that has got to be a little bit of a sting for Soldier there, as Kaiser will clean that up very comfortably.
Yeah, I think he might have been okay with that. He just really needed to abuse the extra range on the Mace Haltons, but unfortunately, he just kind of walked right in, lost a lot of units for free, and yeah, Kaiser actually manages to win the game despite being pretty far behind for, if not the last 2 minutes, the like 4 or 5 minutes before the last 2 minutes. But just getting really good trades all the time and managing to finally secure some hunts as a result of it, and then getting a military mass that was just too much for Soldier to deal with.
Yeah, a good summary there, and I think that was a fascinating game because the Soldier just seemed to have the military mass. He seemed to have good counter units in there, but he just really took quite poor fights by the looks of things. I mean, the Puma in that fight was so far out of position, and for some reason he sent the mace into the Hussar instead of maybe backing them out. But yeah, it's just kind of poor trading, as you're saying in the chat, and Soldier it seemed like he had quite a good lead, but ended up throwing that away with that fight there.
Yeah, for sure. Good on Kaiser, though, for not quitting after failing the timing on that war hut. It was a rough situation for him. He lost some CDB, didn't have resources, wasn't able to trade units, but stuck it out and managed to get some good trades and win as a result.
Kaiser's telling us to look at the military graph and how he would have won if he'd have microed properly. I guess, yeah, he's got a good point. Like, at 7 minutes, he's actually got the same amount of military population, and his units are stronger pound for pound, right? But did take some poor fights early on in the game, did Kaiser. Later on, though, it was Soldier taking the poor fights, and just look at that final engagement there. So much of a loss for Soldier, and Kaiser hardly dipping at all in military population. military count, military population is sorry, a little different here. Military unit population way higher even for Kaiser. But yeah, also looking at the villagers there, Soldier pulling ahead quite nicely. But in the end, that just wasn't enough to make up for the poor fights.
Yep. And that brings the score up to 4-1 for Kaiser, so match point potentially.
It does, and I wonder if we might see now the German pick from Kaiser, or if he'll pull something else out.
Yeah, I imagine he'll probably go for that Germany pick for sure.
Well, it's going to be High Plains for Game 6, and High Plains, I don't know the maps too well, but I imagine it would be quite good for Germany, being able to raid a lot, and Kaiser here instantly going on to Germany. There's also a lot of TPs on this map.
Yeah, there are a lot of trading posts, which could be influential, but... Oh, okay. So we're going to have the reverse matchup of Game 1 with
Yes.
Soldier playing France and Kaiser playing Germans. And this is the matchup that Soldier wanted in the second game when he picked France. So
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. And I think this is, well, it's going to be something that Soldier's probably happy for, or happy about. We'll see what he can do here in the potentially the last game. I really hope it's not over yet. I want to see Soldier bounce back just a little bit. 5-1 just seems a little bit too one-sided for me. 5-2 seems like something I could stomach.
yeah, I mean, he had a really, like, the last couple games have been really close, right? Like,
Yeah,
down to the
very.
wire. And he could definitely bring it back, but gonna be hard. This is Kaiser's best Civ on a map that is quite good for Germany. So
Yeah,
we'll
quite
see
good
if he
for
can
Germany.
do it.
And also, we saw Germany quite dominating, dominant in the first game. In fact, the very first game that was won, I believe, was by the German player, which was Soldier at the time. So very good stuff for Soldier here. Very good stuff for Kaiser here, being able to get an advantage perhaps in this final, or not final, I want to say in this next map. I don't want to say it's over yet. I keep making that mistake.
Yeah, it's certainly not over just yet. I think this is a matchup that Soldier's pretty comfortable with, so could be quite good.
All right, so here we go. We're ready to go into game number 7 on... game number 6 even, on High Plains. It's currently 4-1 to Soldier. Soldier picks up the first game in the series, and then it's 4 consecutive back-to-back victories for Kaiser, and he's going for victory number 5 here, with Germany being picked for this map. It's basically a mirror of the first game. We'll see what Soldier can do here on French, and maybe Maito, you can tell us what he has to do on French in order to win this game.
I think there's a few different options. But knowing Soldier, I imagine he'll try to do something kind of aggressive.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that will be aggressive in Colonial or Early Fortress. We're just going to have to wait and see.
All right, well, we're loading into the game now, and over to the northeast of the map in the blue, it is Soldier. Down to the southwest, it will be Kaiser playing as the Germans in the red. But yeah, Kaiser here, as you say, well known for the Germans, one of his favorite or best civs. We'll see what damage Soldier can do. They have been close games, but Kaiser just keeps coming out on top, and I think in this game, we need to see Soldier taking better fights, and we need to see Soldier maybe being aggressive, like you say, just to get an advantage early and keep that advantage for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Looks like both players going to be opening with a market. Pretty standard stuff for these civilizations. Going to be getting that early hunting dogs to help out their economy a little bit. Not too much to say at the moment. Second native scout going to be going over to Soldier, which is going to be really, really nice for him to scout out the rest of the map and treasures and potentially hunt down that German explorer later on when he wants to construct a trading post. And,
yeah, there's no livestock on this map, is there, by the looks of things?
Not unless you get it from the treasure, no.
Right, there is a treasure for that actually down here. I think 2 stray sheep, but there you go. We're actually seeing an 80 food treasure being contested by Kaiser right now, and meanwhile, he's also picked up a 50 coin and a 60 food, whereas Soldier's so far gotten himself 70 coin from those 2 combined treasures. So Kaiser a little bit ahead on the treasuring right now. Picking up quite a lot of the good ones, but maybe he'll grab this 130 food, which does seem to be achievable, I think, if he crack shots the Outlaw Rider here.
Yeah, this is probably the best treasure you could possibly find on this map. And just a lot easier for France to find in general because of that native scout. And Germany is a little bit more restricted in what they can really do in the early game. So that's going to be a nice pickup for Soldier as long as Kaiser doesn't walk in and steal it.
Oh, he's coming in. He's coming in. He's going to see it. Oh, this is going to be a right kick in the balls if Soldier doesn't get this. He's got to get this.
Looks like he's got it.
He's got it. He's got it.
But his Explorer a little bit low. Going to take a couple of shots from Kaiser, but Kaiser may be too afraid of the native scouts coming over and swaying that fight in Soldier's favor, which is what's going to happen. At this stage in the game, as players are approaching age up, I think Soldier just wants to whittle down that Explorer as much as possible and potentially deny a trading post, which would be huge for France in this matchup.
Yeah, that would be very nice, actually. And doesn't look those scouts, native scouts, don't snare, do they? So
No,
not able to get that Explorer snared and take it out, but does bring it low. And I guess with the two native scouts and a bit of map control, he could still deny any kind of trade post because the Explorer is pretty low still. We'll have to wait and see. But would France want to go for the trade post here?
Yeah, France definitely wants a trading post as well. And I really like what Soldier's doing with his native scouts as well, just keeping them on both sides of Kaiser's base so he can see where that Explorer is at all times. And really just try to deny the TP as much as possible. And Kaiser actually aging a little bit late, it looks like.
Yeah.
Or maybe Soldier's just aging a little bit early, actually, with the 13 CDB age up.
That's very early.
Yeah, it is really early, and he could actually be quite aggressive. And it looks like he might actually forego the trading post as long as he can deny Germany the trading post. France is arguably quite a bit better than Germany if they both don't have one. And with him being this aggressive, it could be pretty good.
Yeah, it could be entirely possible. And you did say it yourself, you're expecting to see aggression here. We see a lot of CDBs on coin right now. Is this more likely then to be a stable and hussar, or is he going to go for the barracks? I imagine the stable is the common choice. But he's going for the trading post. He's sending a settler wagon. Yeah,
kind of forced to send that because otherwise he'll lose the Explorer. What civ were you talking about before? Germany or French?
French.
Okay, yeah, stable's pretty standard for them, but you can kind of go for either in this matchup. But yeah, gonna lose the Explorer, and gonna lose a lot of villager seconds having to use this settler wagon to construct the trading post as well, so that's a really nice trade for Soldier. Also managed to deny it enough to miss that pass as well, so...
Oh, nice.
Quite a bit less XP than he would normally get.
It's going to be denied for some time, and even the Explorer could go down for a second time here. So not only if he loses Explorer again, he'll give Soldier an extra, what is that, like 90 experience, which is very nice. And in fact, I think he might just kill it here. He's really going for it.
A little bit too scared of the town center with, of course.
Oh, saloon.
I was going to say a little bit too scared of the town center. Fire and the potential for like Ulans popping out with a shipment, but
for sure.
Of course, I always forget to check Kaiserklein's deck when he's playing Germany, but he does have this pet build of his where he goes for an early saloon, gets outlaws in the colonial age, and then mercenaries later on, and if you don't realize it's coming, it can be really, really scary.
Wow, that's interesting. So he's got Renegados in here, and Comancheros. These are like the most saloonish looking guys I could possibly imagine. I'm pretty hyped for this. Also, the Comancheros have a pretty fascinating jacket. It's like semi-transparent. I don't know if that's it for you. But
yeah, I think that's supposed to be where the player color goes if the portrait's in there, but yeah, not on the Observer UI.
So we got the Ulan coming out. Going to look for some CDB in the back. They'll find the one on the coin mine here, and Soldier should bring it back to safety. He's got the muskets out as well. 10 muskets on the field for Soldier right now. Kaiser still has a shipment to send. He actually sent Palatine settlements.
Yeah, essentially what that card does is increases the amount of population that each house can support up to 30 instead of 10. Which is really important when you're going for outlaws, because if you take a look at the Comanchero, they actually cost 7 population each.
And the tooltip is telling me this is a dangerous outlaw on horseback. But I think the dangerous thing here is this scout, which is going to see these guys sitting right there and know exactly what's happening.
Yep, Soldier knows what's up now if he's paying attention. And it's going to be annoying, and I'm not sure how he deals with this. He's got a couple of options. Looks like right now he's macroing to go up to Fortress, but he could still go for a small timing with these muskets, although it would be a little bit dangerous if Renegados are trained, which they are.
They are.
Renegados do insane damage to Musketeers. They actually 2-hit them, I think. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Are you kidding me? That's mad. What are the stats on these guys? 40 ranged attack and 2 times versus heavy infantry?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
However, they have a really long setup animation, so you can't exactly kite with them, and chasing down units that are running away can be difficult. But it looks like he might get one volley off here.
There you go. Gets one. Poor musket guy. They move pretty quick, but all went into TC range. Going to take a bit of damage for free right there, so almost trading evenly. In fact, will trade off. And now they're going to line up and take the CDBs. CDBs hopping in. And Soldier's like, nah, get out of here. I'm going up to the Fortress Age with the Exiled Prince. This seems like a real meme strat from Kaiser here. I'm very fascinated to know if this is going to pay off in long term.
In the Colonial Age, it is very memey, as these units are very hit or miss. They don't have a lot of micro potential compared to other units, so you can get punished really hard if you're not careful. Mm-hmm. But once you get up to Fortress and you get out like Mercenary Combat, the shipment or whatever, gives you 20% HP and attack on Mercenaries, which already have really high base stats, so it's even stronger. It can be kind of scary depending on what Mercenaries he has.
Okay.
Although the Mercenaries that he has at the moment are not the best. I mean, he's got Ninjas, which are kind of good, and Mamelukes, but Mamelukes aren't available until the 4th Age.
Right.
And Ninjas, although they're good, are quite expensive, I believe, so...
Okay. Well, we'll see if he ends up committing to this or if he switches gears a little bit. But we do have Age 3 in for Soldier. He did send a shipment just now. I'm going to assume that's going to be either 3 Cuirassiers, 5 Dragoons, or 8 Skirms, because his pop it did go up pretty high. What is it going to be? Let's see. Age 3 coming in, though, for Kaiser as well, and it is 8 Skirms.
Yep, I'm going to leave a few Musketeers at home as well, it looks like, just to deal with any pesky Ulan raids. But he does have a couple minutes here where he could try and do some damage with these units.
What do you think you should go for, the TPs, or is it better to just kind of focus now on pushing toward base and trying to whittle down this mercenary army?
I think at this stage in the game, like once you're around between 10 to 12 minutes, the trading post is kind of less valuable because shipments sort of get exponentially more expensive over time.
Okay.
So the trading post just gives you less of a shipment over time than it does in the early game. So at this point, it's maybe not as worthwhile to pressure that. And I think you'll be going for the base instead. And yeah, spots a couple of settler wagons.
Hello.
And this is part of the weakness of this build as well, is you're very reliant on gold, as all of your units cost nothing but gold. And so if you can deny the gold mines, it can be pretty tough.
Yeah, those settler wagons getting pretty low, but not dying thanks to those greatcoats. And they're so tanky, 405 health. They can easily shrug off 20 veteran skirmisher shots. Look at them go.
Yep, plus the 30% range resistance.
Oh, it's crazy.
Settlers, on the other hand, not
so
quite
good.
as resilient.
Ninjas coming out. And he did send improved mercenaries as well. So we've got ninjas, 480 HP, 72 siege. Are you kidding me?
Yep, and 24 hand attack.
Pretty damn good.
And they can stealth as well. So you can
you
actually
stealth them, you run them in, and then you take down your opponent's TC before they know what's happening.
Unfortunately, you can't stealth in under the TC. It's one of the few buildings that actually reveals units, but it's a painful raid.
Yeah, that is. Those settlers getting caught out.
Yeah, Soldier's doing a good job of keeping control over these gold mines. He knows that Kaiser's down here as well as the native scout is there to spot that out. And doesn't have enough units to pressure that one just yet, but doing a good job nonetheless.
All right, we do see Kaiser going out with an outpost as well here, and meanwhile he's sending his army forward. He's going to find the CDBs. They're going to go down very quickly to the Uhlans, and there you go. 2 CDBs going to go down, I think, in the end, as the rest go back towards the TC, and the muskets come out with their bayonets and poke them away. But Soldier here has a really exposed hunt at the north. He's going to build an outpost there, very sensible thing to do. And both players sort of forced out into the open at the moment, it seems. But Soldier's army does definitely look to be on the wrong side of the map, because right down here in the south, that's where the coin miners are. That's where the exposed economy of Kaiser is. And Soldier's just going to take the TP by the looks of things.
Yeah, and this is a little bit scary whenever you're playing against this particular build. And you don't feel like you can just outright kill Germany, because once they start getting out a little bit of a mass of units with that mercenary combat in, they become really, really strong and hard to deal with. And I think Kaiser has a shipment on the way now, which will probably be like the 13 Jaegers or the 9 Black Riders or Hackpels or something like that. And in tandem with these ninjas, it will be really, really tough to kill those.
Yeah, we do see 5 Dragoons coming in, and there you go, the Hackpels coming in here for the red player Kaiser. He sent them, I don't know where he sent them, but the Comancheros and the Ulan here trying to go for a raid. They do kill a CDB, but get caught out by the Dragoons here. And there you go, the ninjas going into stealth mode. I guess he really doesn't want to reveal them, but the Explorer's there, and they will get revealed. There you have it. Fight coming in. Kaiser going to take this. The goons getting snared. They need to get away because the rest of the army is far out of position.
Yeah, it's gonna get caught, but they can still get away if he manages to drop back the ones that are being snared. But no, actually getting completely surrounded by the Hackapels and gonna get destroyed. Just look at how much damage these Hackapels do. 145 damage per swing. By the way, look at how much HP a skirmisher has. It's only 144.
Oh no, they get one shot. But there are some musks in front at least. They've got 150 health, and oh my god, the skirms. That's gotta hurt. And Soldier going so heavy into skirms here, getting absolutely decimated by those Hackapels. The Ulan as well, such a heavy hitter. And the ninjas at the back just threatening to siege his whole base down if he doesn't stop this army. Kaiser looks unstoppable here. 121 military unit population. That's insane. Of course, a lot of those units taking up a lot of space.
At this point, it's really, really tough after you've lost your army to that to come back. And Kaiser has spotted the dead animals on the top side of the map, and he's going to be moving into these villagers. And these villagers are not very tanky against Hackapels.
Oh, that is rip. Yeah, I mean, that's 145 damage against 250 health. So, yeah, you can say goodbye to your CDBs up there. So many dying. And Kaiser ahead in economic population. I want to see the ninjas sieging down the outpost, but instead they're going to catch the Dragoons as they come in. Man, those ninjas in stealth mode just popping out of nowhere. It's so cool, and they're taking down the Dragoons so easily. I do want to see them on the outpost, though. I want to see that siege damage.
Yeah, I imagine he'll be heading over there now. Yeah, there we go. And that's going to go down really quickly.
One volley, I'm calling it. No, siege it. There you go.
Almost one. Oh, yeah, okay, one volley.
CDBs, what are you going to do? I guess you have to fight. Cavalry combat coming in. And soldiers like, this probably shouldn't work, but it does. And there it is, Kaiser. I would put the 5th point on the board, but it's not possible with this UI. I guess Eagle Mutt never thought about that. Or wait, no, he didn't make this, did he? Who made the overlay?
AZAMP,
sorry. But there you go. 5-1 to Kaiser. Once again, a dominant performance from the Frenchman. And really a very, very solid play today. Soldier looked like he was in a position to take some games, but Kaiser's just kind of one step ahead in the late game, I feel, and does manage to close them out quite decisively.
Yeah, I think he's just had the better unit control today, and that's what won him the last few games, at least.
For sure. There you go. Soldier, I had higher hopes, to be honest. I thought he'd... I don't know, man. I really thought Soldier'd put up a better fight here, but I guess Kaiser was just that good.
The games were pretty close, a couple of them. Yeah. The Sioux Dutch game and the Aztec game definitely could have gone in favor of Soldier. Trying to remember what else they played. What was the second game? French versus Russia. I guess that one wasn't quite as close, but yeah, I mean, if Soldier had won those two games, it would have been like 3-3 right now, I think. Something like that. It could have been close, so it was closer than it seems, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. The score probably isn't that quite like that obviously. What am I trying to say? The score doesn't indicate how it really went. Obviously, it was 5 wins, but some of them were very hard fought. But that's an interesting game right there. Seeing the Mercs. A lot of people seem to think the Mercs are quite trolly, but I think they seem pretty strong. I mean, Kaiser definitely showing us that they could be extremely effective in the right hands.
Yeah, if you're not prepared for them, they can really, really toss you through a loop.
Yeah, so very nicely done. Kaiser there, 5 back-to-back wins to secure a 5-1 victory over Soldier. And just want to say thank you so much to Soldier there for stepping in and playing on the last moment. I know he said he didn't have much time, so I don't know if he potentially even cancelled some plans for that. But really appreciate that you took the time to play. And commiserations that you didn't get more games in the series, but it was a very enjoyable series to watch. Kaiser, of course, just proving to be a bit too dominant. Do you think he's pegged as one of the favorites to win the New World Championship, or is that too early to say?
I think he's definitely one of the favorites for sure. He has a pretty good win rate against most top players right now, and yeah, it shows in this series that he's pretty well prepared for the tournament, I guess.